Is everything working? I thought things just look wrong. I can't quite place my finger on it. Things just look wrong somehow. Well, that didn't work at very least, but also it doesn't really matter when you're stuck at the same thing, Kiwi Man. Hello? Hello? Thank you. How was the snack and what did you have to eat? Thank you. That's making me blush. It's lunchtime, so it's midday at the moment. And so I just made myself avocado on toast, but the reason I took a little bit longer is because I also fried an egg on it. But I have some ice water today. I thought that would be a good thing. I also have, the other day we were talking about pinafores and fit checks. It probably is the heat. But I got my Bulbasaur out today, which is very exciting, because I really needed something to help with the coolness.
I'm doing my part.
So we've got that going. So hopefully that will keep us a little bit more chill. But nonetheless, I do need to do one thing. I just was a little bit concerned that things aren't working. Can you hear everything? I think you can. Hi, Com. How you going? I just need to put my link. Ooh, I will get that in a second. Thank you very much. Live now. Done.
I'm doing my part.
Excellent. 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 Okay. Okay, perfect. I don't know what it is. It just felt like something was off on my end, and maybe it was the alert. I don't know, but we're here. We're fine. Everything's fine. Ivysaur. Yeah, we've got a little Bulbasaur in the middle, and then we've got Ivy. Where is Venu? Venu's a little bit lower. Hi, Tweets. How you going? Bulbs out. Is that a euphemism? Absolutely. Here's the fit check. Move that. The thing is that the fit check really is a fit check because my camera angle doesn't keep my head in the frame. So the Venusaur is here. I love them. They are very cute. It does not it does not have pockets, unfortunately. I lie! It does have pockets! Oh my gosh! Actually, I remember us going through this like 2 years ago, but I very, very rarely wear these. I usually only break them out for special occasions like a birthday or a convention. But apparently they do have pockets! Oh my gosh! Yeah, you saw better than I did. Oh, that's a good point. Yes, Obi, I'll pretend that it was all planned. It is indeed the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go this weekend. There's a massive event happening, so there will be no streams Saturday, Sunday. I will not be here at my desk. I will be sweating outside rather than inside, trying to catch some goodies. So yes, this is for the 10th anniversary, totally. Hi, Alpaca, good to see you. Daily motivation, keep being you, keep smiling, and keep the stream high class and true to you. So adorable. It's so good to see you. By the way, I am going to be in Melbourne for PAX, so I will make sure to message you. Maybe we can catch up with Arlo or something. Thanks, Tweez. I really appreciate it. From New Zealand. Ninja, thank you for the 38 months. No messages. That's okay. But yes, we'll be touching grass for digital Pokemon. Hopefully I can find people to do raids with. That's kind of what I've been struggling with this week is I don't quite have high enough Pokemon to duo all of the raids. There are a couple raids. And so similarly, I think that they're both accounts to one person, and so we added each other, and every now and again I just get a little raid invite, and so I'm convinced that they're in the same position. They're a few levels higher than I, so maybe they'll do okay without me, but every now and again it's just like, oh yeah. And then I popped down to my nearest, the nearest gym that we both fight raids in. Thank you. So yes, this is a good reminder. In New Zealand, it is Matariki weekend. Matariki is a star constellation that in Maori culture signifies the new year, essentially. So when they see that constellation, that's kind of the indication that it is um, a new year, and similar to a lot of, what's the word? Like pre-civilization, I guess. A lot of the calendar year was based on crops and growing, and in New Zealand, being the southern hemisphere, it is the winter time in June, July, so it kind of varies between June and July, and that's when that constellation is up in the sky. Cheers, Alpaca, cheers. What Pokemon do we play? So I play Pokemon Go. I honestly don't return to a lot of the games. I have played them, but I haven't played the most recent one. So I didn't play Pokopia. I didn't play ZA. I don't think I'm going to play Winds and Waves unless it gets pretty good reception. So actually, I have been thinking of getting Pokopia just because it has had good reception. But I know that I won't actually play it at the moment, so I'm happy to shelve that for now. But I won't be buying Winds and Waves on release. Also, is Winds and Waves only going to be on Switch 2? Because I feel like if that's the case, then that's really dodgy of Nintendo for already shelving Nintendo Switch older models. Anyway, I'll look into it. But I play Pokemon Go every day. Hi, Toad! Hello and goodbye! I'm assuming that you have to head off, but thanks for stopping by nonetheless. You play Pokemon Go? No, wait, there we go. Also, hi, Sahid. Hello. I can tell you guys already that I'm starting to heat up, so I don't know if I will have a particularly long stream today. The deal in the Discord was basically I'll go live, see how we go, and then go from there. And the thing is, I've actually been considering this. I don't know if it's like just sitting down. Maybe I would be more cool if I could stand up. I think there's something about like skin on skin contact. I know this sounds really eyebrows, but I feel like there is something that is making me hotter just sitting down. I don't know. Is that a thing? Maybe not. If you just drink too much, you can have a long stream. All right, maybe we can do that in that case with our hydration. Hi, Meerkats. It's not dodgy. They've been doing it for years, new gen on new consoles. I mean, I know that from other gen consoles and whatnot, but it just feels unnecessary. They're stopping the manufacturer of Switch 1, so I doubt Winds and Waves will be on it. Well, then I definitely won't be playing Winds and Waves, I guess. I'm altering the deal. Pray I do not alter any further. Yes, sir. Yeah, honestly, Nine Fox, it's exactly that. There's no airflow on the butt. And so it made me think about something else, which is where I was going with this. Is office chairs or similar, and just the aeration and the flow and the like mesh of a chair and how important that is, and therefore gaming chairs are an absolute sham. I never had a gaming chair, and sitting, so just to show you what I'm sitting on, just shows my butt. Sorry, that was inappropriate. This is the dining chair that I have. It's very warm. There's always airflow on the butt. I feel like I need like a cushion, or I don't know. It's just too warm for my butt. You want gaming chairs made like mammal bike seats? Let me have a look at these ones, because I don't know what that is. Mammal bike seat. I've actually tried that method before, but it's the same issue that the blanket insulates too much heat. Middle-aged men in Lycra. Let me have a look at these. Exactly, 9 Fox. So it's anyway, it's too much information, but I feel like, oh, we could sit on the ground because it feels okay, and then it just gets too hot. Do I need to get a bike seat? Yes. Yes, I do. Anyways, so the point, yeah, a little floor stream. Maybe if I had my... no, we won't worry about it. I'll see how I go, that's all. I think it's more like, what's something that's cool? Well, like 9Fox said at the very beginning of the stream, I need to have a bucket with just cold water in it to put my feetsies in. Ah, cheers, Schmick, I got it. Ah, yes. This is it. I need one of these where it has all of the air that flow to my butt. Oh, no way. 20 centimeters of snow. I guess, yeah, it is winter time. And you've got all the mountains there. It does make sense that there would be snow. I think that's going to be beautiful, though, meerkats. A footspar is amazing in this heat. I have considered it in the past because we've spoken about it in the past. But I don't think that I have a trough. I don't have I don't have a bucket, just full stop. It's not even a bucket that's big enough. I can't use a bowl. I could show you my feet, but my feet are larger than a bowl. So I just don't think that I have anything that can hold copious amounts of water. Yo, goodness, meerkats, please make sure that you are super, super well equipped in that case. If you're going to be camping, please, warm jacket, underwear, the highest possible sleeping bag warmth that you can get. Please do all of your due diligence, okay? It's gonna be gorgeous, but not if you actually freeze. Thank you. Spoilers. A washing up bowl. I don't think I have a washing up bowl. Level 48 in Pokemon. Hell yeah. Don't offer to show your feet. I'm not offering to show my feet. That's the whole thing. I said I would, but I'm not going to. Hi, Yannick. If only there were places to buy such things, maybe yeah, no. Get these as your new streaming chair. Having a look. Yes! This looks perfect! Absolutely. I am just gonna open the image. Oh no, it's being so annoying. Okay, so we need to get like a mecha suit, basically. So instead of having an... Do you have an ice pack? I have ice, but I don't have an ice pack. She would if she could, but she can't, so she shan't, exactly. A little clamshell pool. A clamshell pool. If I ever hard pivot into a hot tub, then I will have to get a clamshell. That is hilarious. Hi, Full Truth. Good to see you. I am level I've got 2 accounts, and so I'm level 68 on one of my Pokemon accounts. I'm so close to 69. I think one let me see how many points away I am from 69. I am 300,000 XP away from 69. So that's only like one forever friend. And then my second account is 64. Those are my accounts. A cold washcloth I've had in the past. I've just kind of like, especially on the neck. Oh my gosh, I should put my hair up. What an idiot. Tubs are only temporarily relief unless you can cool the water. Yeah, and so you'd have to update ice and whatnot. You like ice cream? This is actually so embarrassing. No, I don't like ice cream. I've spoken about this a fair bit, but I'm one of those people who don't enjoy ice cream. And every single time I try to get ice cream, because it'll be a hot day or whatever, and then I'm like, ooh, ice cream, this will aid the situation. It always ends in disappointment. So no, No, I don't like ice cream. Who you know you. Don't worry, I'm already. Where is this? Turning you mecha as we speak. Thank goodness someone was. If you ice in plastic bag, you have ice pack. Oh, that's a good point. Honestly, though, I don't really have plastic bags. I try and avoid getting them, but I'm sure that there'll be one hanging around somewhere. Yeah, bread bag, something like that. But I don't really. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yes, I have the hair ties. Oh well. Hair up, cold towel around the neck, that's the one. I keep a spray bottle of water in the fridge, have a spritz and stand outside that is lush. I've seen that a lot of people have handheld fans in the UK. That's not something that I've ever seen people bother with, not in Australia, not in New Zealand, but so many people just walk around with these tiny little handheld fans. And being in the London Tube, I completely get it. That thing is an actual hot box and people faint in it. It is so disgusting even on a cool day. And so I get it, but at the same time doesn't really do much. The neck cloths you get in Oz are actually really good if you have some airflow. There we go. Where am I? In your house, unless you're not. Hi, Sean. It's Javier. Oh my gosh, what a coincidence. Well, it is a pleasure. Hello. Mini update. I live in the UK now. That's how long it's been. Because I think last time you popped in, I would have still been in Australia, but now in the UK. It is a pleasure to have you here. Oh my gosh, it brought a smile to my face. And Aspire and Conquer, hello, how you going? You don't like the best clock of ice cream? The best, which one? Of the beat clock of ice cream? Which one's this, Cody Cameron? Sorry. Are most plastic bags banned in the UK? Not at all. Plastic is rife over here in the UK. It's really disappointing, actually. You go to the supermarket, everything is shrink wrapped in, well, not everything, but so much is just in a plastic bag. So it's just ridiculous. Like a lot of fruit and vegetables that have their own wrapping are in plastic wrap. It really bothers me. And so I kind of on principle don't buy a lot of things that are in plastic wrap. Even just like mushrooms. So you have a carton of mushrooms, so just like a paper box. So they've gone out of their way to make sure that the box that the mushrooms are situated in are in paper casing, and then they put a whole bag of plastic around that mushroom. It's so silly. They do have soft plastic recycling, but are we going to pretend like they actually recycle it? No ways, man. No ways. UK is famous for how good their food is, said no one ever. Exactly right. That is not why I moved to the UK, I can tell you that much. Hi, Harris. Deep dish with water and a block of ice. It's the old AC, but it really does work. I think there is something about keeping your extremities cool helps keep your core cool or something like this. Anyway, Mo, in answer to your question, I'm from New Zealand, but I live in the UK now. Yes, I've got my fan on. So I do have the fan on. So that's, I actually put that on about an hour before I started streaming on the off chance that would help, but it kind of just is. Funnily enough, when the tube first opened, it was advertised as being much cooler than outside air, but a century of heat has been absorbed into its walls, and the clay is now heat-soaked and causing a massive headache. Yes, this I wasn't sure of the details, but I heard something similar that basically the tube has been insulating the heat, and so what does one do about that? Can they cool the clay down? I don't know. Yeah, it's so disgustingly hot. Empty ice cream tubs do make great ice blocks that last for ages. Ooh, that's a good point. If I get, although I found maybe it's just at my little Tesco, but at the bigger supermarket I would have to look because I don't get ice cream, so it's not something that I think about. But in my Tesco, they only have the small like Ben and Jerry size tubs, and so that I can't put my foot in. And then in terms of like a bigger ice cream tub, I think No, I don't think that would quite suffice, but it would make for a big ice block. That's a good point. What about shopping bags? Shopping bags, they have plastic bags that you can buy. A reference about get your canvas bags. I don't recall seeing that kind of reusable bags easily accessible at the end of a shopping aisle like you would in Australia and New Zealand. Like if you've forgotten your bags. 6, 7. But I just bring my own bags. But there definitely is that like thick plastic bag that is available. Happy Matariki indeed. In answer to the question, I'm going to call you Sean because your name here on YouTube is Sean. So I'll say Sean. Not to be confused with Sean McLaughlin. But anyway, Sean, Hamiel, I'm really, really happy with the move. I will say that there are a lot of things about the UK that it's not like, wow, I love the UK. I do like the architecture, but not here where I live. But I have said this to a lot of people is I found a group of friends that I play Dungeons and Dragons with every single week, and they are just so darling, and I just feel like I really fit in with the people here. I can't really put my finger on it. I spoke about this a couple weeks ago, but I just feel like socialization I find very easy here, and I don't know what it is. It's not even that I've reinventing myself. I think there's just a style of conversation that suits me somehow. So I am very happy here. I'm going to Spain next week. I'm going to Iceland later. I've already been to Croatia and Slovenia and Denmark, and those are the reasons why I moved here. I wanted to move to Europe, and I'm definitely living out my travel fantasy, so very happy girl. Also, Profo, I really love the Pokeball in your badge. That is very cool. Some plants are just adding massive air ventilation shafts, but it will take decades to siphon all the heat out. Ah, damn, that sucks. Skeletora, good to see you. I got hassled by the heat, arrested for illegally downloading all of Google. Unfortunately, at my trial, I was able to explain everything. Phew! Thank goodness. Good morning, Sharpa. How are you enjoying UK? Yeah, I really do enjoy UK. Not because of, also, Sean, I did see your message about checking. Oh my god, it's amazing! That is incredible. I will show everyone shortly. So let me answer King Harris first. My mom will be visiting me in September, so you guys will get to see a stream with my mom. I never really was able to do a whole bunch of streams with her anyway because we didn't live in the same country. She lived in New Zealand, I lived in Australia. But she will be visiting later on, so we'll get to see her again. And yeah, I am enjoying the UK. The weather, I know it's hot up here, but it's actually been quite pleasant. A lot of people are like, ew, gloomy weather. No. It's been fine. Maybe it's been fine because I live in the south of the UK, very, very, very south. But the weather has been absolutely no trouble whatsoever. Yeah, I've been enjoying the sunshine, admittedly. The heat waves have been gross, but that's not England specific. That is just what Europe is experiencing. And it does suck that there's no AC. Maybe next summer, if I'm still living here, that I could look at maybe getting some AC up here. But I don't know. But the people are lovely. Where I'm situated in Southampton in particular is a really nice neighborhood. And so the access to the indulgences that I have are really welcomed, like a coffee shop, for example, and there are so many parks. There's a big river running through. And then I'm close to London, so I've gone in and watched a few musicals already and get to experience the big city life when I want the big city life. Yeah, I've just got a good network going, so I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. If you do move, please keep the background. All right. We'll dismantle it and take it with us. Yeah, freeze the ice cream in a tub of water. I got that, but I was seeing if I could also fit, because of you mentioning the tub of ice cream, if I could fit my feet in there. It was like a secondary thought, but I knew what you meant. Sorry, Schmick. They tend to keep canvas bags and bags behind counters because people would just take them. There we go. Thank you, Sean, for the confirmation there. And Danes, welcome on in. I will admit, Danes, I don't know how to pronounce your friend's name. So, happy birthday! That's all I got. A couple of pints under your armpits could be refreshing every time I would get a Guinness or something, because the glass cools down and has condensation, especially when I got my knees out. I would just like put the glass on my thigh like this, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I found my people. That's exactly it. I'm getting $1 million invention idea. Beer hat that also holds frozen blocks, so you basically have like an ice machine on your head. I like it. Keeping the inner thighs cool. Yes, exactly. Yes. I think it's not so much that I put it on my inner thigh because I know that I'd probably tip it, but I put it on top of my thigh. How many UK viewers do you have to adjust if to how we speak? Hold on, let me say this again. How many UK viewers do you have to adjust if needed to how we speak? I don't quite know what you mean by that, I guess, Sunbeam. How many people until I speak like a Brit? Is that what it is? Thank you, Andy. Hope you're well as well. Very much happy to hear you loving it. Thank you, thank you. Great seeing you again randomly. Yeah, go do work. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for popping in. It's so lovely to see you, genuinely. Like I said, actually brought a smile to my face seeing your name. Ron says, make a necromancer, find a dead minotaur skeleton and name it Skeletorus. That's adorable. I love it. Puzzle building mom returns. Yeah, I'm not sure what we'd do. I want to take her to, I want to take her and you guys to the mini, sorry, not model trains, miniature trains? Yes, miniature trains. So I want to take all of us together to that because I think that would be really cute. And where it is like along a river. So I was thinking that we could do like a walk along the river, go do that. And you even have to buy like a ticket. It's so adorable. And then there's another area further up that has like makeshift rapids. So I think that will be a really nice stream, and it will be in September when it hopefully starts cooling down again, so I won't have to worry about the heat as much. Is today going to be a good day? No, apparently. Is that from the D20, is it? If you do, oh yeah, the move. What are the camera? That's the one. How's it going, Crossbow? Good to see you again. Lego update thoughts. Oh my gosh, hold on. Before we get into the Lego, I do have to show you what Sean has done because it is glorious. Ta-da! It's Mecha Chameleon! That's very funny. That is very funny. Even the Pokemon got affected a little bit. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very, very well done. I've just seen Peach in the Discord ask when the charity stream is. That will be next week, but I can mention it then. You mentioned about socialization. Now you're here. Oh, right. Yeah. So like the idea that how UK chatters engage makes you more familiar with the type of thing. Does that make more sense? Let me have a think. I think it's probably more to do so with how I socialize. I don't really know how to explain it, and I think that's what makes it difficult, is when I can't explain it, that's where the disconnect is happening. But in Australia, and I found this in South Africa as well, I found that I just really was overthinking a lot of my interactions with people. It didn't feel very like, it would be rare that I would find people that I would just feel like chill around. Whereas I find that even just chatting to strangers here, it's just really easy. Like for example, when I go to the coffee shop, I'm just like, hi, can I order this, blah, blah, blah. And so the people will be happy enough to kind of chat. There will be other patrons. I know one guy in particular with his dog who just seems to know the entire town. And it's just very simple and easy to have a conversation with, even as someone who considers himself more introverted. I don't know how to explain it. It's just easy for how I socialize. I guess the type of conversation or the type of speech, maybe because I'm quite, as a New Zealander or as an Australian, I'm quite posh, I guess. And so maybe that's what's kind of fitting in is the way the speech patterns rather than being singled out of like sounding particular or pedantic or there's just a lot of pedantry over here, and that's also what helps me fit in. Maybe I don't know. I like I said, I give me a few more months, maybe I'll figure it out. Mecha Chameleon, hilarious. After seeing it on a Top Scop video, I want to go see a model Navy battle up north. Maybe we can check that out at some point. Hi, Zirak. The first time, it also painted your teeth. But yes, thank you for keeping the teeth. Yeah, I don't know, Sunbeam. All I can think is that it is probably a way of how I talk, which I don't think is particularly posh, don't get me wrong. But it is more, even when I say like that's not really a British accent. But I think it's just something about my speech pattern that fits in here. And so Boba does have a point about maybe it's me changing and becoming less introverted or more confident. But I'm not convinced on that because there are two aspects of it. One, when I was in Australia and I found that I was lacking a little bit in my social life, I really went out of my way to try and make new friends. People who have been watching for a few years may have even noticed that, is that there are a lot of streamers that I was literally meeting up with in person, trying to make a concerted effort to be more social. But not only that, is that there would be people in like Alpaca was here earlier. Alpaca was my barista in Melbourne, and we just hung out. Like I've been to his house, and so I don't think it is necessarily a confidence thing because I was actively making that effort in Australia as well. However, to counter my own point is that maybe one of the reasons it didn't work out or I didn't feel as comfortable is because I just didn't want to be in Australia anymore. And so trying to have strong connections in a place that you're going to leave, maybe there's an element there. And so there could be more confidence in a new country being because of this confirmation that I want to be here for a couple years. But I don't think that I am less introverted because there were definitely I still very much like my alone time. So even with my wonderful D&D group, there are weeks where I'm like, I don't really feel like going out today, but I force myself to go anyway because I know I'm going to enjoy it. But I'm really pleased that it's only once a week, and they're all introverts too, so they're also pleased it's only once a week. So I don't think I'm becoming less introverted. Because I still very much need my independence as well. I do think I have gained more confidence. I think that a part of that is less so about being... Oh, maybe it is about being in the UK, but it's more about moving on from the decision making of moving countries. So in Australia, there were a lot of things that would have been causing me anxiety, and so some of that is like am I in the right country? Should I be here? Do I want to be here? What does that mean for my relationship? What does that mean for my dog? Like all these kinds of things. And so making the decision to move and then also finding my friends and feeling comfortable here, of course, innately increases confidence. But I wouldn't say it's confidence. I think it's comfortability. And through that, it's kind of synonymous. But I don't know if that's what makes it easier for me to get along with the people here. I think that I'll have to think about it some more. Hi, Jordan. Good to have you back. And Explorer. Hello, hello. No guns. Here's a really bad joke. I once tried to change my Google password to penis, but then Google said it was too short. Get wrecked. Maybe weeding out the scum, perhaps? Yeah, I'm not sure. But, the other thing is that I got burnt quite a lot in Australia, thinking of, like, 3 streamers in particular, but I digress. You're going to find a second hustle while in the UK. I have talked about this. I would like to get a job while I'm over here just for the experience of working in another country. I think that would be a lot of fun, even if it's just at a coffee shop or ideally a plant shop. But I'm not able to get that until I get my visa. So I'll be applying for my visa next week, and hopefully that all comes through. Small talks culture is a vibe of a city. Yeah, exactly, Crossbow. And there are European countries that talk about it where it's like, there will be no striking up of a conversation whatsoever. Do not come into my personal bubble whatsoever. And I think that there's something about UK that perfectly bridges what I like, of not necessarily being super chatty, but not being super cold was a good word. Because in New Zealand, for example, whenever I'd go back to my small town, you walk past someone and you're like, hi, like, how's your day? And then you just keep moving. But I found that here in the UK and in the city of Melbourne, but kind of outer suburbs, it wouldn't be as much of a thing. But people don't look you in the eye here in the UK. And I'm living in a population that is quite small. It's only about 200,000. And people do not look at you in the eye. And so there's a part of me that's like, bruh, just say hi. We're literally walking past one another. Just say hi. That's all there is to it. And so it does make me roll my eyes a bit. However, the same people will be quite chatty in an establishment, which is quite interesting. So if you go to the pub or you go to a coffee shop, especially the servers, they're very friendly, and even other patrons will strike up a conversation with one another. So I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think still too close to London because it wasn't as much of a thing up north, I think. But there is something that's quite interesting there where on the street, no talking. But in an establishment, patrons will be happy to chat to one another. Yeah, well, to hell with you do, exactly. Yeah, see, and in Scotland, they'll just chat to you whenever. Confidence can build from necessity. Simple, you don't have choice other than make the move. Exactly. For me, I will admit it's a struggle for me to find my people that said, if you hear me talking, I'll be yapping up a storm. I love that. Well, in UK, just stick with streaming. Yeah, I've just been sticking with streaming at the moment, but it would be fun to even just for a few months have a second job. What has helped you have a greater social life? Literally moving, James. I don't really know how to explain it any better than that. When I was in Australia, I did have a lot of friends in Australia, don't get me wrong, but they were kind of in literally different cities, and so we can't really hang out. And the Melbourne is so widely spread out, kind of like Los Angeles or London, that you can live on one side of London and that'd be 90 minutes away from another side of London. Melbourne is very similar to that. So a lot of my friends still lived an hour away from me. And so it was very hard to just casually pop on over. But in terms of the social life, I think there is something about the smaller community and neighborhood here in Southampton that helps. But yeah, just moving is what helped. I will confess, I just have the one group of friends, but I also have people that I've visited in other UK cities, because that's kind of what cemented my desire to move when I was here last year. Is I spent a month in Manchester and I really enjoyed it. But then I went to Nottingham and I went to Hastings and I went to Cambridge and I went to all of these and I went up to Glasgow, and I caught up with a bunch of friends that I communicated online with for so long, but seeing them in person, it was the same thing where I just felt so in my element. I felt like it was just so easy to get along, and it's not it's just my people. It's just my people, and I can't pinpoint on why that is the case. Oh, so Kiwi man, the he can afford a house on a barista salary in this economy. I can talk at length about how good Australia has it. Australia, I know you want to complain, and there's no reason for you not to complain. Don't get me wrong, things can always be better. But after leaving Australia, I really have understood how good Australia's economy is. And you Australians, you might not think it so. You might think cost of living is atrocious and food and this and that and the next thing, but you only have Australia as comparison. I truly speak very highly of Australia's economy after leaving it. It took me leaving it to realize how good it is over there. And so, in terms of the barista salary, this is where all of this oh, I don't know about the corruption. That's something that am ignorant on. But yeah, 2 of the worst in the world, we can beat them. Yeah, if you want to compare it to like Scandinavia, maybe it will be a different thing. But in terms of barista salary, this is how I crafted my theory. I think your room has a new roommate. I've lived in Australia for 10 years. If you are concerned that I might see a spider, I don't care. I literally had a spider on my hair when I got home the other day, and I was like, how did you get there? Anyhow, so in terms of salary in particular, here is my theory crafting. No one can make a good coffee here in this country, or at least in the city, although I didn't have anything very good in London either. It's fine. It's tolerable, but I tell you what, the quality, and yes, I did live in Australia, in Melbourne, where they're very, very, very snobbish about their coffee. But there are people who can't even make the right coffee. So for example, I'll ask for a flat white and I have not received a flat white. I've received a cappuccino. It's like, why did I bother telling you to make me a flat white if you don't even know how to do the ratio? This is just like, anyhow. So that's kind of where my base came from, right? Is I was thinking, why are the baristas so shit? And then I thought about it, and I thought, oh, it's because there aren't people who are doing this as like a passion or a long-term job. They're often doing this as like an entry-level job or a low-paying job, similar to America as well. But if you are a barista in Australia, you're earning over $20 an hour. I don't know what that, if not over $25 an hour, because the minimum wage there is so good that these entry level jobs are actually livable. It's just interesting to me. And so I think that the baristas not only are better in Australia because they can live off that salary better than if you're a barista in America or UK. But that also is what increases the quality of their coffee, because they aren't necessarily just doing it for 3 months. Anyway, it's a qualification, exactly. And they do the training, exactly. They do a barista course. It isn't an entry-level job. That's the problem as well. Exactly. See? So I this is my theory of why. One, the baristas suck over here. I don't know if they have to have training to become one, but it doesn't feel like it for me. And then two, I think people are happier in Australia having the equivalent of entry level jobs. So I know people are very comfortable working at supermarkets. They've worked there for 10 years. And it's not even that they are not, let's say, able to go and attempt a let me think how I want to word this. There are people that I know who are very comfortable in jobs that don't require degrees. And it's not that they didn't get a degree because they are incapable. Like, they're not stupid people. It's just that these jobs are paying well enough to support people. And it's just cool to see. And it means, I think, that there's a better work-life balance in a way. So anyway, Australia has a good hospitality. That's also a very good point, Sunbeam. In Australia and New Zealand, it does not hospitality doesn't rely on tips. You get a high salary, high hourly rate, if not a salary, if you're a full timer. And tips are not necessary. Yeah. I don't know if it's only US. US is definitely like you rely on tips, but I know that tipping culture is a thing in Germany still. There are a lot of countries in Europe that expect you to round up the bill for tipping culture. Canada also had tipping culture, but Australia, you don't do any of that. You don't round up the bill. You don't even give them $3. There's no tipping culture. New Zealand's the same. And so it is not... it's even that rounding up, that the couple bucks here and there is not even included. Okay, cool. Let me catch up with these things. It's terrible in the States. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And you get more if you have qualification. That's a good point. I know that I missed out on a bunch of stuff, so I'm going to go read all of those. Hi, Lou. It's pretty cold outside. I need to wear a hoodie. 115 degrees is quite chilly. You absolute troll. Absolute troll. Y'all are my people too, cute Boba. People talk or act in a certain way. Yeah, colonial hangover. I feel like if I moved to another country, I'd just keep being myself and wouldn't get any more social. Yeah, and that's the thing is for me, I just found people that it's easier for me to get along with. But I moved from New Zealand to Australia and didn't necessarily have that. So, yeah. I have friends who live 2 hours from me exactly in Melbourne. It's so spread out. In housing Australia stuff, but we are better in everything else versus other places. Yeah, I think in Australia, it's just that minimum wage and lack of tips. It can go a long way. How about oil and minerals? What? Tax now should be right, mate. Just pay the right people. I'm not a barista. No. Hi, Milan. My name is Clem. You can call me Clem. I wonder how much the water difference makes from Oz to the UK. I have wondered if the water is making my hair dry out a lot more because the water here actually has a lot of minerals in it. It makes it hard water, and I do wonder if that's affecting my hair. Anyhow, I have a flat white, please, sister. You're flat and white enough for the both of us. Rough. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. Okay, Crosbo said, barista waiter is kind of side job, if not exclusive place, it's just rotation of newcomers. But yeah, that's the thing is a lot of people look at it as a second job or an entry-level job. But in Australia, I think that you can be quite comfortable in a lot of those kinds of jobs because they pay fine. It goes counter work with learning the basics and helping plate food, then making coffees. Yeah, you got to work your way up to it. But I feel like a lot of people just push a button and expect that to make the coffee. Hey, Dag, you're rad. Thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. Same thing with bar work. More pieces of paper, more money, and longer hours. If you tip someone in Australia, they will think you are sus. I actually, I worked a job where it was part of our contract that we were not allowed to accept gifts or tips from people. So I was working, also JB Hi-Fi for those who are familiar. I don't know if it's the same in other places, but basically you are not allowed to accept extra donations or tips for your service. So for example, I would help people get phone contracts and I would have to sign them up, or even just troubleshooting some of their technology if something wasn't working. I had a few people who wanted to give me like even just $10, and I was literally not allowed to accept it. I don't remember why though. It was just a big no no no. And so I said this to them, and I remember one time someone came back with a cup of coffee, which was quite sweet. They're like, I know that I can't give you $5, so here's a coffee instead. And I was like, that's quite sweet. And so I took the coffee. Canada tipping helps, I confirm as well as I can verify. My mom was waitress from ages to 16 to 65. Holy crap, that's awesome. People in New Zealand do tip, it's just rare, exactly. I feel like a lot of people who work in touristy areas get tips because they get, say, American tourists who will tip, or not even just Americans, but you'll find that there are a lot of tipping. There is some tipping culture in touristy areas. Yeah, the minerals I do think affect things in a bad way. In a bad way. Yeah, well, it was rare, Boba, for people to tip. But I had it maybe 3 or 4 times. Don't tip in some Asian places because they might think that you're trying to solicit them for something extra. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. There are a few industries in Oz where it grounds for dismissal. Exactly, yeah. So I was not allowed to accept money. Thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. I like round bill tipping, but it's gray zones, passive aggressive expectations. I find rounding tipping a little bit I found that it makes sense when you used to pay in cash. So for example, you go to coffee and your bill is, let's say, €4, so you give them €5. That is fine. You can even leave it on the table. But now when everything is paid digitally, I'm not a fan of rounded tipping because it's like, but I can just give you the money. Boop. And so tipping to me is about like just loose change. Oh yeah, just take this as well. And then if you have something like €42, do you round it to 45 or do you round it to 50? Like, where does this start to go? It just gets a little bit like, but I guess coming from a country that's not used to it, maybe that's why I don't understand the etiquette. Was the coffee a flat white? No, because I don't know how to make it, God damn it. Just get them to buy the, oh no, you mean in Melbourne. I can't remember what it was. I didn't have oat milk, which I normally get. I think it was just a latte. Anyway, it was so many years ago. I just love paying the exact amount and say keep the change. That's very funny. I like that. Just get them to buy the products with the S. Yes, Boba. I remember one camera in particular. It was a $500 camera, but you got $50 from the spivs. And so we were selling those like hotcakes, I tell you what. Yeah, it's bloody hard. Hard. It's hot, isn't it, Jester? I've got my fan on. I've got my new method, guys. I'm sitting at the edge of my seat. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm finding that actually helps with being cooler because my thighs, I guess, are not in contact as much with the seat. I was going to ask about the tourist places. Oh, yes, I'll have to go to more. Definitely, I have noticed there is more tipping culture getting adopted here in the UK, and I hate it. At a certain point, it can become rude to not accept a gratuity. I completely agree. As an apartment maintenance tech, I had one family that moved out in November and came back to give me a Christmas tip. That's so beautiful. I really like that. It just shows that people really appreciate your service. And so I do like the gesture out when it's not expected. But yeah, sometimes you just like keep on saying no and then it just gets awkward. It's more of a keep the change vibe, yeah, and that's fine. I rounded down to 40. Dazza, you are bold, bold one. Hi, Leon. It is indeed. It has been very hot. I think it's closer to 84, 86-ish. So it is 31 degrees Celsius here in Southampton. What is that in Fahrenheit? I think it's about 87. What's our thing? Temp. Oh, thank you. Yeah, 88 almost. How's winter in UK? I haven't experienced it yet. I actually arrived in the UK after winter had already passed. So you'll have to ask me again in 6 months' time. What actually is a flat white? Oh, thank you for asking. I know we'll talk about Lego later, by the way. Coffee chart. I kind of want to get a coffee picture for the decoration. There are so many of these photos that people use, and it works really, really well. I wouldn't say this is correct, but I will show anyway. I think this will give a good base at least. When I was working at a restaurant, I couldn't ask for tips, but I would receive tips. Ah, there we go. I know this is old news, but what's your thought on the Sony digital media debacle? Oh yes, I will do one conversation at a time. We got coffee, Sony, and Lego. In Oz, it used to be customary at Christmas to leave some beer on your garbage bin. That's so cute. I love that. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, you've been enrolled into Barista Lesson 1. That's the one. Thank you, Rios. Obrigado. Okay, so yeah, I've never actually had a cortado. I thought that a flat white was more like a cortado with equal part. Oh, no, I guess it does have more milk. Okay, so espresso. Espresso is literally just the bean juice. And then, of course, you can have a double espresso. Americano is where you have that topped up with water. Cappuccino, you can see you have the espresso, and then you have steamed milk, and then you have a whole bunch of foam on top. I'm not a big fan of foam myself. It's not my vibe. And you can see a latte has more milk than foam. The mocha has a little bit of hot chocolate in it. Cortado is more how I think of a flat white, to be honest, is I think of it like equal parts espresso and milk. And so this is why I'm a bit surprised. Maybe I should try a cortado here, and that might get me a little bit further, because I found that a lot of the flat whites are so milky over here. And maybe this is why, because they do have more milk. Because a flat white pretty much always has a double shot. And so that's something that I'm not really seeing represented in this chart. Is I would say that a flat white has double espresso and then the same amount of milk. So I would look at this doppio, and the rest of this would be milk. That's always how I've seen flat whites. However, what I have noticed is a lot of people outside of Australia and New Zealand claim that flat whites only come in one size. And anytime that a flat white is ordered and they say, oh, like, do you want a small or a large? They immediately dismiss this barista because they're like, no, flat whites only come in one size. And I was like, first of all, you're wrong. As someone who has lived in both the countries that claim the flat white as the origin, the place of origin, so Aussies claim it and New Zealanders claim it, you can absolutely get a large flat white. The thing is that they also adjust the espresso size. But I think that what happens is whenever someone asks for a flat white, if they want a large one, they just put more milk in it. I remember this in Canada, and I was like, oh, this is so milky. You should print it and give it to your local coffee place. There is one of the coffee places that have one like this. I'll see if I can see what they have, but they're not open as often. Yeah, Nine Fox, I think a cortado might be what I'll try over here. because maybe that will be more accurate to the flavors. Because like I said, I imagine a flat white like a double cortado, double espresso, double milk. So it's just a cortado times 2. That's how I envision a flat white. But maybe they do in fact do it wrong over here, and so maybe I should start ordering a cortado myself. Can't leave beer on the trash cans here because they don't even get out of the truck. The big arm just tips the whole thing into the back and they keep moving. I think it's more about the guys like grabbing it off the bin lid. Latte is basically a flat white with a little added foam. Exactly. And so I've started ordering lattes with double shots. And then I had one barista who's like, lattes always come with double shots. And I was like, no, no, they don't. Yes, Schmick, exactly. So the double shot flat white. I asked for a double shot latte instead. And yeah, that was the response. Is lattes always come with a double shot. No. No, they don't. My leg got broke. I'm sorry to hear that, Gogeta. That sucks. Hopefully you heal up quickly. On a cruise ship, Americano is like normal coffee. At least it's my experience. Oh, something that is missing here is a long black. So a short black and a long black are also Australia and New Zealand coffees that aren't done elsewhere. So if you are wondering, this is why they're so snobbish over there, because they literally invented coffee over there to enjoy it. So basically, it's an Americano flipped, and something about that causes this like natural foamy layer that makes it a little bit more rich than Americano. So I love a long black. I've only seen one place that does a long black near me, but everywhere else does Americanos. Can I see images? It's not really giving much more information, admittedly. So I'll just show you this one. So you can see that an Americano, it does the espresso shot and tops it up with water. But the long black, you pour it on top. And like I said, it creates this little foamy one. Yeah, no fish poster, exactly. What on earth is milk foam? Yeah, foamed milk, sorry. Either way, so instead of steamed milk, it's foamed. So basically, this is why I should get a job as a barista, because I had a coffee maker at home for a little bit, and so I know how to steam milk versus foam it already. And so basically, you know, the like tube, so that you put you have like a jug and you put milk in there, and then you put the steamer into it, and if you keep it in the milk, that's what heats up the milk, right? It's hot milk, rather steamed milk. It's just heating up the milk. But if you have the tube at a particular angle where it has air coming through at the same time, that's what foams the milk. And so you don't need to foam the milk for a flat white. It's on the top right. No, the Americano was not a long black. Yeah, it's a watered down espresso, but a long black, I don't know what it is. It just makes it different. You could just ask for a double cortado. That's what I do. I think I will. I feel like cortado, like I said, is not one that we really see in Australia and New Zealand. But now I'm thinking that that's because a flat white is done correctly over there. And maybe the cortado is the equivalent here. Americano also refers to drip coffee, same thing, just less burnt. No, it is different, but I do think of drip as well. I think I'd go for con panna. I need this graphic saved in my notes. Cute. What about an all black? Hilarious. I was gonna say I'll take one any day for the sixth innuendo, but then I was like, no, rugby players are big and scary. They're too intimidating, so I don't want to take one any day. Yes, exactly. It's lifting the steamer to add more air into it. You got it. Oh, it's the crema. See, crema is wording that I don't really know, but I think something about that is what happens in the long black that doesn't happen in the Americano. Yes, exactly, Nine Fox. I'm pretty sure that it keeps that word. I don't know what that is, but that's exactly it. And so the long black has that, but the Americano doesn't. And so I prefer the long black taste wise. I've never seen a cortado on a menu here. Exactly. That's my thought. I think that I will order a cortado and see what happens. But I'm not going to order it. So I've got my 3 go-to coffee shops. I can't say much more than that because that is doxing thing. One of them is never open. I think they're actually doing renovations. So hopefully after all of that will improve. But I can tell you they're not doing renovations right now. They're just closed. So that's really annoying. But they do okay unless one particular guy is making the coffees. Anytime I see him, I just keep walking. I'm like, I'm not ordering a coffee from him. So there's one guy who makes a beautiful flat white. And that's, I think, would be my favorite if it was bloody open. And then I've got another one that I go to that's more like a brunch spot. And that one is newer. And they definitely don't have people who know how to make a coffee. But it is it's my brunch spot. I don't mind getting an iced latte, though, from there. And then my third place is quite a trek. But it's my favorite place, other than the fact that it is more expensive. And so that really sucks. But they at least don't disappoint me when I order a coffee. And they're the ones that have long blacks. But they like double the price. And it sucks because they're the best ones. And they're not double the price best. They're just tolerable. So, and they have a garden. So it is nice to sit out there at some point. I don't understand the language. You're all good. What does the get scammed do? You can try it out if you want. You changed it up. Can you hear me, Clementine? Adorable. Crema is the little layer of foam on top of a good espresso shot. Yes, yeah. So the long black will keep that in that case, Nine Fox, because I can envision it. I just couldn't remember what the name is. Thank you so much for explaining. So yeah, if you get an espresso as is, and it has that little like brownie foam, that's the crema. And so yeah, the long black, if you have the water and then you do that on top, then it keeps that, and it's so much better than an Americano. What is this, Boba? Oh, it was just an accidental. So I'll read Boba's message out. Oh no, it got repeated. There we go. In coffee culture, crema is the reddish brown or golden foam. There it is. It is on top of a well-pulled shot of espresso. It is formed when pressurized hot water emulsifies the natural coffee oils with carbon dioxide gas trapped inside fresh roasted beans. Oh, you're all good. So what I should do is every coffee shop that I go to, a new one or even the ones I frequent, I should start with asking for an espresso and see if they can even pull a coffee shop. Maybe that's what it is. In Croatia, locals mostly drink Turkish coffee. Ah, they're long with milk or short with foam, not specific names. Gotcha. And that's the thing, is I think people don't even understand what the difference between all these names are anyway. So I actually prefer that method, Crossbow, because it's just like, I want this and I want it very like these are the instructions, rather than being wanky and pretentious about knowing what the name of it is when they're just going to get it wrong anyhow. Hey, Cactus John. And thank you, everyone who's doing their part. Get Scanned was surprisingly awesome. Most people should do that. Yeah, I'm glad it actually worked, though, because I feel like a lot of people try it and they're like, I didn't see it work, but I'm glad that you were able to pull that off. I've heard that the milk from different regions makes the coffee taste quite different. Yes, I also agree. I prefer Cortana. Hilarious. Okay, let me close these off. Okay, so King Harris, if you're still here, I'm not going to talk too much about the Sony digital stuff. I will give my, oh, thank you. It's a little bit hot today, so this was my trying to get my hair off my neck and face without having a hair tie on my wrist at the moment. But yes, you can marvel at it in all its glory. So in terms of the digital media, I think that people are are well and truly in their rights to, yeah, awesome. So I'll keep it short because I spoke about it before. I think that people should want the ability to own something permanently, like having a DVD. But I think the battle that they are having is a little misplaced in the sense that people are really, really harping on about physical media instead of permanent licensing. And so that is kind of the distilled version of my opinion. Is so many people are like, oh, like we need to make sure we have physical media. No, I don't think we need to make sure we have physical media. I think that we are moving on to a digital age, the same way that the same people do not complain about having physical cash. Yes, of course, there are people who prefer physical cash. I'm not discounting them. I'm saying as a majority, there are people who don't really care about having physical cash anymore. And so similarly, I don't have issues with moving to a digital world if we have exactly what Shark is saying, a right to own that media. And so that is the fight that we should be moving to. I have a lot of faith in Stop Killing Games movement, that will be included as a part of it. And so, for example, holding game developers accountable for people being able to look after these games after end of life. I think that all of these things are actually working towards a shared goal of having media after the game developers decide to hang it up. And then also in terms of Sony getting rid of their DVDs, this is an example of that. There should have been some sort of method, and I didn't get the emails because I didn't buy movies, but what should have happened is, hey, we are going to be ending our licensing agreement with these movies. As someone who has purchased these movies, make sure to download them using this method or whatever so that you still have access to those movies. We just no longer will be able to hold on to them in the cloud. You have 12 months to do this or whatever it is. There needs to be that's what the battle I think should be, is that there, like something like Steam is another example, because I have a game that is no longer purchasable on Steam. And that is called Pandemic. Pandemic, the board game, they had a digital version on Steam. I can even bring it up for you now. It's actually probably got what I play it a lot, okay? I don't even want to show you how many hours I've played of Pandemic. So it is literally just a digital version of a board game. Oh, that's a good point, Professor Oak. Honestly, I didn't read your name as Professor Oak the first time. I read it as Prof. I don't know why. I read it as Profo or something. And now it makes so much sense why you have the Pokeball. I'm so sorry that as a Pokemon lover, as you can tell with my little guys in the background, I can't believe I didn't read that earlier. I'm so disappointed in myself. Anyway, this is Pandemic, the board game. And I will just jump in. So this is basically just a digitized board game, right? So this is what the board would look like if it were on a table, and then it just puts all the things, and then you can just play the game. You can't buy this on Steam anymore. At one point, there was even a message kind of warning me that this will now no longer be available on Steam to purchase. However, as you can see, I can still play it. I bought this game and the DLCs, and I am still allowed to play this game. And that is exactly the battle that people should be fighting for, rather than necessarily being specifically about physical media. Because I bought this, I am allowed to play this, even though it is no longer purchasable on Steam. And that is why I have these opinions as well, because I literally have an example of a launcher, as in Valve and Steam, allowing me access to this game even after the agreement had ended with it. It's not to be confused with Plague Inc., by the way. They are two different games. They're two different games. But I do think that Professor Oak has a good point about physical media being different to streamed media. I think my immediate opinion in that regard, and call it ignorant or naive if you'd like, because maybe it is, my immediate thought is that stuff just gets better, and comparing it to what it was a few decades ago, I'm not so concerned about it needing to be physical, because hardware and software and so on always gets better. So I think it becomes negligible at a point. But maybe that means I am not the right audience in that regard. I think for the majority of people, it won't matter. And then in the sense for those who will care, it would be nice to have that physical media for DVDs, but maybe at that point, it becomes such a small group of people that would already be buying physical media. So, are there the same people who are buying physical media from a, what would you call like a video game file rather than a cinephile? What would be the Latin version of video game? It's a niche issue, yeah, but it's not a non-existent one. I don't want it to also be like I'm saying that Pixelphile's cute. I like that. We'll use that in the meantime. So it's still a valid point. I think it would be more comparable to audio files, so not to be confused with audio space files. But I think that's more comparable there of making sure you have like the proper equipment and all these kinds of things. It is good that those experts are allowed the opportunity to better their listening experience. And so similarly, I think that can be done in movies. And you're seeing a big problem of that with upscaling and color grading being so different in the digital media. I know that a lot of people have been concerned about that. Now, in terms of video games, I feel from my opinion that it was very similar, that it becomes somewhat negligible to have a physical disc versus a downloaded copy. So I guess in that sense, I'm not too fussed about it needing to have a physical copy, but rather some sort of contingency of this is the version you have bought and you were allowed this well past the end of life or end of licensing. But there are a lot of these agreements that are saying you have you are purchasing a license to play this game for as long as we decide, and that's where it becomes dodgy. For sure. I'm dead trying to make my own hollandaise. I tried it once. No, thank you. I feel like when you buy a virtual license of a software, the vendor should be bound to provide you physical media within 30 days of request for a fee with burning a DVD, or a USB stick. So this is kind of what I would agree with Shark, because I think that if you don't have to get it immediately after purchase. I think that it's just one of those, if they decide to pull the licensing, then they have to send out an email or something saying that you have 90 days to redeem this code for the version of the game you have, or something like that. Pro folk, yeah, thinking it was a medication, exactly. I'd love to play all those old phone games I've forgotten over the years. Random games I've dropped time and money into and completely forgotten. The one I think of is not one that you'd put money into necessarily, but Bounce on a Nokia. It's kind of the same era as Snake, maybe a little bit later. I'd love to see if we can play Bounce again. Did we just become friends? I know the guy who devised Pandemic. Oh my gosh, that's so cool, Saint Wheel. Yeah, I love it. I can tell you that it is several hundred hours I have sunk into Pandemic online alone, and it always changes because it confuses my PC with my laptop because I can play it on either, and often it will jump around of how many hours it is. So I don't actually know the real figure, but I am staring at this now, and I've spent over several hundred hours in Pandemic alone. What are the requirements to call yourself a cinephile? That's a good question, Adnan. I guess it is nuanced. I love movies, but I wouldn't call myself a cinephile. I think that it does have an implication. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I have to consider it a bit more. I still had PT on my PS4 until my flatmate at the time updated the software. Oh no. Luckily, depends on the the license agreement exactly, and the usage if the usage is revocable, and I don't think it should be revocable. That's where I think in the agreement they should not be allowed to revoke it. Many game dev companies bankrupt, so how can they make it available? Do they just post it for download before? Yeah, that's how I would think about it, Crossbow. But I don't know technology better than that. I think it's just download it and now it's shut down. I don't have an expectation for them to continue running it, or the launchers to continue running it, but to be able to download it, similar to how people pirate games, you can download a game. It is possible, and so I think that's how I would say that they should cover it with my limited knowledge at the moment. Hi Jay, by the way. Do you have family that have blue eyes? Not my immediate family, no. A ludophile? What would ludo imply? Sorry, Sunbeam. I guess that would be game, is it? Software librarian or digital archivist is cute as well. A guinea file for guineas and guinea pigs, it's true. The other thing I feel we gloss over with old games is the hardware and software change. Just think old DOS games that can't run because the old CPUs had a separate sound card. Flash games, no CD-ROM drives. They're not all backwards compatible. Exactly. So I think that's why I feel like stop killing games that are trying to have the ability to keep some of these games even after the hardware changes alive. I think that physical media should hopefully be a part of that as well, where it doesn't need to be physical media. It's just a way of still accessing them, like through emulators and such. I just saw this message that got deleted. I have to laugh at it. Anyways. I had to buy an AV to HDMI adapter to plug my Nintendo 64 into my telly. Yeah, shit changes. And that's the thing, is that's why I'm not fussed about it needing to be physical media specifically. I think a lot of people are harping on about this idea of keeping physical media. And I'm just not one of those people. But I do think that the ability to continue using the media afterwards would be really great. Because imagine, if you will, instead of having physical DVDs, if you could buy the DVD and then just keep that forever. Because there are plenty of people who do that through pirating, where they have just gigabytes, terabytes of movies, and unless that hard drive or whatever they're using gets corrupted, they have that indefinitely, and they can move that around when hardware changes. And that's how I look at what gaming and gaming licenses should allow. Is so I've got Witcher 3 here on my computer, for example. If Steam decides that they no longer will have an agreement to be hosting the ability to download Witcher 3, Steam should contact me to say, you have 90 days to download Witcher 3 so that you still have access to something that you bought, but we won't keep it in the cloud anymore for you. I really think it is as simple as that. But like I said, I could understand that there are nuances that I just don't know from a technological aspect. And Adnan, in answer to your question about a cinephobe being someone who hates or are afraid of movies, absolutely. For sure. la 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 la. I feel if you want to play an old game, you have to keep the hardware in a time capsule or decide to upgrade and lose the ability to play them. I've heard people say something similar where it's like go get a Blu-ray player and just keep it in your storage somewhere so that one day you can if like a current one breaks, you still have access to another one. But I don't think that we have to necessarily do that. I think it is about like emulators playing older games. Something about there is what I would like to see done. You can easily turn a downloadable install into a physical copy. Exactly, yeah. GOG supply install files. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, that's really good to hear. Yeah, something like that I think works well. I'll do. Hi, Ian. I have to pirate games I have physical media of because the authentication service to determine my copy is legit. It was shut down decades ago. For fuck's sake. Oh my gosh, little girl. Yes, see, stuff like that is just ridiculous. There are archives, but at least you know that you've done the right thing by buying it. So there are archives of digital software that the developers have abandoned. It's called Abandonware. You can find good examples on Free Oldies or abandonware.com. There we go. Cool. Someone who likes games but can go beyond video games. Gotcha, Sunbeam. So Ludo being game like the game Ludo. That's why we have things like DOSBox. Exactly. So I don't know. I don't know how we can just have that natively available to everyone. I think that's the only thing that makes me a little bit. That's where my knowledge runs out. Ludophile, the love of ludes. Exactly. The strong painkillers like in Wolf of Wall Street. Hilarious. Oh yeah. They're not just painkillers either. It also means they say software that was written 30 years ago on DOS can still run inside DOSBox. Emulators are a super important part of keeping things alive. Yeah, and so that's why I think all of these things should be included in the Stop Killing Games movement. I want my Flash games back. I know, right? I've been trying to get a particular game to work on stream. I've got 4 out of 6 working, but I need to get the other 2, and then once those are up and running, I'm gonna be very, very pleased. Very pleased indeed. I always love these messages, so obviously the mods have banned them, but because for whatever reason the thing that I use doesn't delete the messages even if it gets deleted from the chat itself. So let's just read it. What is the reason you are here? It is not important to go live. Humanity will not evolve from you. I always find these kinds of messages very funny because it's like, there's no self-awareness. You can literally just turn this around on them when you say, what I could say to Abdal, like, what is the reason you are here? It is not important for you to message. Humanity will not evolve from you. Like, we just changed this word to message instead of go live, and it's literally the same thing. There's just no awareness whatsoever, and I don't understand what they're trying to achieve. So for example, are they trying to get me to quit streaming, and do they think that I will be now better off and humanity will be better off? Do they think that they well, they don't think that is the reality, but it's just funny that they think they have the moral high ground from their tipping away at the keyboard, you know? Anyway, I put too much thought into it. Too hot, we're buying some fanboys. I do have one going, so I actually will admit that I thought I wouldn't be able to last. It's been 90 minutes. I thought I wouldn't be able to last today, but I actually am doing okay, all things considered. I just have to decide if I want to play video games as well. I think that is where I might, oh, thank you, might struggle. Uno reverse. Well, I mean, they were Uno reversed by, oh no, we just hit skip a turn for them. Ludo! Ronarian, I see you, I respect you, thank you. Someone who gets off from very specific scenes of the labyrinth indeed. Oh. Firstly, what it means to have access to online game? Do companies should share server files? How to run it? Then license of in-game digital art? So many questions. Yeah, exactly. And that's where my knowledge starts to falter. But I think there should just be this blanket once a platform decides to stop hosting a game, I think is probably a good word to use that I haven't used today. That should now be people should be allowed to have their own copy there. If you really are interested in playing older games, you would learn about virtual machines. That's a good point. They're very easy to set up on a newer system and emulate numerous other older machines. Exactly. And so I think the thing is, if you now have that, ability to move a file, like if you are allowed to keep that file, you don't necessarily have to now set up the virtual machine straight away, because you know that once you do, you still have that file because you are allowed to download it, so on and so forth. I do think that it does, the older games and hardware changes that Boba was mentioning does bring up another question of that people I haven't seen online speak about a lot, is the idea of, say, like a Nintendo 64. When hardware moved on, those were just put to bed. They were archived. They're no longer necessarily played anymore. And that was just kind of widely accepted because things change. So what would be the solution for something like that? And so as an example, I was unable to play God of War number 1 and 2 because I didn't have that available on my Australian Sony PlayStation account. So when I played it on stream, I literally had to crack out my PlayStation 3 and connect a whole bunch of random cables to be able to play it for you guys. It's true. Thank you so much. I keep on forgetting to mention my giveaway. So that is the one, Tippy Ma. Thank you. I got to be better at these calls to action. And yeah, so I was able to play God of War even on stream, but I had to play that on the PlayStation 3. But if that never gets adopted or remade, do we just put that to bed? Do I just accept that my copy of God of War 3 is never able to be played again if the hardware moves on? I don't have a answer to that. But I think those are questions that people could try and answer with this physical copy debacle. And the only thing I can say is it feels like Stop Killing Games are the only movement that are trying to think about those answers as well. I just had to turn on my AC for the first time, you poor thing. Of course humanity won't evolve from you being a confirmed AI. I am the evolved humanity already. You can make a virtual Win XP machine out of an OVA template and throw Adobe Flash on an OS and browser old enough to have a backache and mortgage. I was reading all of this, Shark, and I was like, I'm reading this so monotonously because it's just going over my head, but very funny. A browser old enough to have a backache and a mortgage is hilarious. I love that way to wrap it up. Why are any of us here? Humanity doesn't matter, just a blue speck in an endless black ocean. Exactly. It's just about making your own meaning of life, you know. What is the meaning of life? Whatever you decide, really. They're right, I've wasted my life. Well, not if you decide that it is not a waste, you know. You have to be there, basically, or have the OG setup. That's what I'm getting at. With a PC, you upgrade it, but with a console, you have to have the hardware, yeah. So I think that maybe the PC master race has to win out. The consoles are dying. Emulating is perfectly legal. Nothing stopping you from playing the God of War trilogy on your computer. Yeah, but it was fun to crack out the PlayStation 3 when I had it. And I did play the trilogy, but we don't need to again. You may not even own the hardware anymore with future generations migrating to cloud gaming. This is true. It's the cloud gaming with Sony, I think, is American. It's not adopted in other places, so I can't use it. But you do have a good point. Consoles were always a loss leader for these companies, and now with AI ruining the hardware. Because that's the funny thing, right? AI is meant to make everything cheaper, and it's making everything more expensive. It's so stupid. When, not if. Yeah, you might be right there. You can, yeah. So my concern is not about emulating PlayStation 3. It's about the reason I brought it up is or rather that this is what Stop Killing Games is about, is the ability to continue playing that even when the hardware is starting to be moved on, you know? Games like that exist on disc, so as long as your PS3 works, you can play. Exactly. But if the But I guess my question is the acceptance of moving on from old hardware. We have very rightfully and we have adopted that for a long time, and so that's why I feel like we can accept moving on from physical games, I guess. But the beautiful thing, like with the PlayStation 3, is that it can still be emulated, and so therefore you should be allowed, even if we're not having physical media anymore, we should still be allowed to emulate them if the consoles and software and licensing decides to move on. I think that's more my point. Hi, Izzy. Maybe do like with the older cars that don't meet today's highway standards, call the classic, and you can only play the games for a limited times a year. I do like the idea of comparing them to cars in the sense that you don't have to go, like if you have a VW, you don't have to go to a VW workshop to work on your car. You can go to a generic mechanic. So maybe we need like more generic mechanics for video games, and then that way they can host older games or something. Is that a possibility? Hey guys, Sony pulled your movies? Come over to X Clementine Games, X Clem Plays, where you can play your old games now. Maybe there's something like that that needs to be implemented. If people are struggling on how to set up virtual machine, thankfully, yeah, there's the tutorials and whatnot. That's a good point. I don't want to complicate the conversation more than it is. Yeah, it starts to go over my head. Why don't you run for president in New Zealand? It's very simple, actually. We don't have presidents. And it's a little bit larger. There's 5 million people in New Zealand. But yeah, the simplicity of it is we don't have presidents in New Zealand. Now, in terms of what we do have, that is a prime minister. So I theoretically could run for prime minister. However, I don't live in New Zealand. So it doesn't make sense for me to run for prime minister in New Zealand. I want to travel the world and not through political means. I would like to travel as an explorer, and I would hope that with a name like Explorer, you would understand that. I can see the cloud gaming taking over like Chromebooks, just limited hardware that you can't upgrade, then have to buy to the next one. Ugh. Hard copies can still be digitized and stored digitally. Exactly. That's how I look at it, is that we don't need hard copies. We just need the ability to have like even just like a zip file should a platform decide to pull a game or movie. And not so-called British unplastered wall. No, it's just shoddy workmanship behind me there. There are 5 people, exactly. Only 5. Hi, USA. It's funny how people accept moving on from older games, but older movies live on forever for the most part, because I do acknowledge lost media is a thing. That's a good point, actually, because the movies they're bringing back, but the games, when they stop being able to be played on a console. But that is why emulators exist. So I think, Cody Cameron, you've actually answered my question that I was trying to pose, is we have the ability to upgrade movies to a newer platform so that we can literally watch movies from the 1920s. We've been able to digitize movies that are 100 years old, and so therefore video games should have the same treatment. Again, that's what I feel like Stop Killing Games is trying to achieve, is this digitization of media. Therefore, we don't need physical media. So it really just keeps on coming back to my point, is that so many people are harping on about needing physical media and storing physical media. We don't need that. We just need the ability to own our files at the end of it. That's what people should be certain of. Is streaming exhausting? I love streaming, Oak. I love it. I really do. Also, hi, Funkle. You have to live there to run for PM. So unfair. Well, it feels like some heads of government are very happy not actually being present with their job. So maybe you can apply from a distance. Anyway, I love streaming. I really do. I think that I've been doing it for many years now. So I think there is some stamina that you end up building up. I find that I'm not so much exhausted in the moment. It's more that I will just get exhausted of other things. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done now. Where maybe I'll get exhausted from the heat, or maybe I'll get exhausted of a video game that I'm playing. At some point, I do think conversation, I'm like, yep, I'm done. But it's not because of streaming, and it's not because of talking, because I don't find that talking actually expends a lot of my energy. Using my brain maybe expends some energy. But the same way that you can hang out with someone in person, sometimes you'll only want to spend 5 minutes with them. Sometimes you'll be happy to spend 5 hours with them. It just kind of comes and goes in waves depending on how you feel in the day. And so I am not exhausted at the moment. And I think a lot of that is because I haven't put pressure to play a game today. I think if I was like, oh, like I need to play Red Dead today, then I might be more antsy of like trying to move on to the next thing, and then that causes a lot of brain mentality and anxiety of being very focused and or like conscious of what's happening, whereas right now I'm just kind of relaxing and yapping away and not really caring. And when in those moments is when I feel like it doesn't expend as much energy. Hopefully that answered your question. There's a lot of lost media. It's crazy, hey. Rabbit Hole Ludo voiced by Alan Tudyk. Not that Ludo though. Labyrinth Ludo was Ron Moog, born in Melbourne. Cute! Remember when Xbox allowed you to get free games if you had their sub service? The catch, you stop the sub, you lose all your games. That's nasty. At least with the PlayStation Plus. So I've been on PlayStation Plus a couple times, and I've downloaded a whole bunch of games. I don't have access to them if I end my subscription, but as soon as I start the subscription again, then I get access to the games again. I would hope that Xbox would be similar, because I do think that it's fair enough where if I'm not paying for the subscription, I shouldn't be allowed access to the games. But I do like the idea that anytime I pick up that subscription again, I can play them all of the games that I have saved into my library. I only collect physical media because of the bonus features, and that's something that I also think is a fair point. Where do those bonus features go if not on physical media? And there is something very sweet about that. And you never get it with digital. I guess that's where they would implement the whole, buy the gold tier, whatever movie version. Big sure are TV shows that were produced in 720. They were developed for the quality. It takes a lot of work to make them watchable on 2K plus screens. Lots of reprocessing time trying to fill in extra pixels. Yeah, and that's why they start looking funny, hey. Fun fact, Winston Peters is still alive and in New Zealand politics. I swear at the end of time, it would just be him and the Briscoes lady looking over the ashes. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. Do you ever get on the stream and think to yourself, with the collective brain power of everyone here, can't we fix the world's issues together? I don't think that of a lot of people's streams. I think that our community probably could do it if we weren't held back by a lot of the mental health issues that we face. I say that from experience. I also know that a lot of you guys have been very forthcoming with your own experiences. And I'm like, damn, we got such like smart people in this community. Too bad that we all are struggling in our own way and can't reach our full potential. And you know what? Someone had to nerf us. We can't all be taking over the world. Is the UK safe? It depends where you are. And the camera I'm using is a Sony A7 III. I almost miss having nightmares from falling asleep to Austin Powers. Hilarious! I'm not built for this level of sun. I know, right? I feel like I've been doing okay. The problem that I am struggling with is that I'm streaming from an attic, and so there's not a lot of airflow up here. But downstairs it's quite pleasant. My wall is fully bricked up. The problem with physical media is nowadays there's always a day one patch. Yeah. Pay extra for bonus features on streaming. I miss commentary tracks. Hell yeah. I think Criterion is the only streaming service that gives you audio commentary and extra vids. Ah, there we go. Thank you very much for sharing, Fungal. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous? I can't remember what comment allez-vous means. Let me have a think, Tim. Comment allez-vous? Is that just how are you? No, that's comment ça va. Anyway. Bonjour! We share our struggles because you share yours. Aw, that's nice. I understand physical copy requirements. There can be limitations with laws, international or locals internet rules. Oh, that's a good point. Not guaranteed that will be available online. That is a very good point that I hadn't considered. We can fix the world by neutering the entire population, erase all stuff stored in banks and freezers. In about 19 to 130 years, all world problems will be fixed. Ah, you're one of those people. Let the AI take over, shall we? Anyhow, so that actually went on a lot longer, thank you, Kiwiman, than I thought it would. Speaking of mental health segues, I'm doing a charity stream next week, so it'd be lovely to see you guys pop in. I'm not sure if I'll live stream it on YouTube as well. I haven't figured that out. I just have to, over the weekend, I'm going to be setting everything up, but I'm very excited because I'm going to be doing my first ever kitchen stream in this house. Yes, Ron. But I'm going to be doing my first ever kitchen stream. I'm making it very Spanish themed because I'm going to Spain next week as well, which is also exciting. So I'm going to sneak in that kitchen stream before I go. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. It is how are you? Oh, there we go. Très bien, merci. Anyhow, so come join that. We are going to be trying to raise a bunch of funds for a mental health organization based in Chicago. They reached out to me and I went, you know what? I've been struggling with my mental health. This feels like a good opportunity. There have been a few mental health organizations that have reached out in the past and I've turned them down just because of not being the appropriate timing. But I felt like this one was appropriate time. So we're going to work on that. Your donations can not only help people in America, but also can affect how my meal goes. So if you want to make it spicy, you can make it spicy. There are some fun little games that we can do for lower tier donations, even as low as $10. No, I'm going to make a paella. I need to learn how to pronounce it. Based in Chicago. There we go. So this organization is called Hope for the Day. They're based in Chicago as well. So I've called it A Recipe for Hope, which I thought was a fun little play on words. But we're going to try and learn some Spanish. We're going to play some mini games for smaller portion donations. So you can affect the stream even if it's only as low as $10. And then, of course, higher tiers show what you can do to help with a youth mental health organization, which is very exciting. Not just youth, but predominantly youth. A lot of prevention working in there, and hopefully just a fun kitchen stream in general, because we'll be in the kitchen, which is so exciting. The higher the tiers, the more we are able to raise, the more food I will make, including even a Basque cheesecake if we really get up to that point. And so on and so forth. So please keep an eye out for that. I'll make sure to put it in the Discord, but it would be great to have you guys there. Even if you aren't able to donate yourself, having eyes on the channel goes a long, long way. So it would be great. Thank you, Tim. Merci. Thank you. Now, outside of that, bricks and minifigs! If you've been watching the Reckless Ben, or even if you haven't been watching the Reckless Ben series of Lego, I'm not going to talk too much about it, I say. But there is a part 3 out. I got very confused because I couldn't tell whether it was like I don't think it was part 3 as intended. I think that because he was editing part 3 and then he got silent. So it's kind of part 3 plus some more information of after he got silenced. Yeah, exactly, Kiwi Man. That's why I'm not going to go too hard on it. I was very excited to watch it, but I don't want to subject other people to it because of exactly that burnout. It was just as infuriating as the first two. The corruption or the weasels that are the Bricks and Minifigs Corporation and the police department is so infuriating. But he's no longer silent, so good for him. You can go check it out. Exactly, Nine Fox. That was my takeaway. It's really, really upsetting. And that's what I mean by it's infuriating and frustrating and irritating and other synonyms, is that it is so unfair and unjust to see what is being done to silence people and to use the justice system against smaller people. So Brian Manziel, for example, would not have gotten as much attention onto this as he has if he was trying to do that through the legal system. He will never get his Lego back if he was trying to go through the legal system. And that's what's so messed up, is you're supposed to rely on the legal system for what is fair and what is just. And when you're seeing the exact opposite of that, it is radicalizing is what it is. And exactly, it's not about the Lego. It is about how, because you can say, that people are wrong in all aspects, and of course, but the reality is that the reason it got to this point is because Brian, the owner of the Legos, was not able to get his Legos back through a legal or cooperative system. And that in itself is very sad. And I don't think it is limited to just America. I really don't. Imagine if you were wrongfully accused of something and you don't have the funds to be able to back yourself up. Like, all of these things are really, really sad. And that's kind of the quick notes is it just sucks. It really does. You can't charge X, but we can make on Y. And yes, exactly. That whole section was so gross. For those who don't know, basically they were telling the Bricks and Minifigs Corporation that we can't charge them for this, but we can charge them for that. And it's like, okay, but what if why are they the ones trying to get these charges out on someone instead of taking accountability themselves? Yeah, not much better in Oz. That's what I thought as well. Anyway, guys, we're about to hit an ad break. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my hair tie. I'm going to let the ads run, and then I'm going to decide whether or not... I don't think I want to play games today. Maybe I just end stream, actually. I don't want to play games today because I know that we are at such... Like, we're at the end, essentially. And so I don't think that I want to play if I'm just going to be grumpy and thinking about how hot it is. The problem is that it's not going to be much better next week. And so there's a part of me that, because I really want to finish chapter 6 before I go to Spain. Hello, Oaken Hill. And so it's not going to be any cooler next week. So maybe I just do it. Thinking. Am I going to be too cranky? Maybe next week I'll be more prepared for the heat, though. I am! Yes, she's actually my cousin, Mike. Yes, a lot of people don't pick up on the similarities. She's actually my cousin, so I'm glad someone was able to pick up on that. That's really cool. Yeah, Nine Fox, I don't think it's really about being any earlier. I can come up here quite early in the morning, and just the attic, it doesn't achieve anything. I leave the window open overnight. I try to have the fan going. It's not really something that can be achieved earlier morning. If anything, it would have to be like late at night. Yeah, maybe I bring the yeah, maybe on the weekend, because I'm not going to stream on the weekend. Oh, you're a good Oaken Hill. Maybe on the weekend, because I'm going to be playing a whole bunch of Pokemon and not streaming, I can organize a few other things. I need to get a linen shirt, because cotton is not very useful in heat. And I'm so upset because I think my mum stole my summer shirt. I really do. I don't know where it's gone because there's no way that I would have thrown it out in Australia. But I don't remember having it in New Zealand because it wasn't hot enough to wear in New Zealand. So I've just got this linen shirt that's disappeared. So I'm convinced my mum took it and thought it was her own. Ah, my gosh, my phone game. No, I'm so embarrassed about my phone game. I don't want anyone to know what I'm playing on my phone. I could play some Pandemic. Do you guys want to see some Pandemic? I'll play a round of Pandemic. How about that? We'll play a round of Pandemic. The building is already heat soaked from the day. Yeah, exactly, Schmick. So that's why it doesn't really help. But I think if I get a foot bath, then that can help me next week. With a mom and kid in the cold house, I know exactly the one. Luckily, it is not one of those ones, okay? All right, I'll show you these. Is the ad break. So we are going to have the... Too soon. I like it. We're going to have the ads run. So if you are stuck behind the ads, you might miss out on how the game is set up.
I'm doing my part.
But we'll play around. I think that would be fun. So I'll show you that. Trying to give me some summer teeth. Ay, some teeth over there. So I'll see you guys on the other side of the ads. Okay, so for those who are here, this is Pandemic. It is a board game. I do own the board game, but I don't own the DLCs. And so you can set your difficulty level. I like to have both of the DLCs on, but we'll turn them off for our first one. We'll put it at level 5. All those 1,000 hours, I can tell you I've not hit 1,000 hours, thankfully. Not yet, anyway. So basically, we'll just get 3 people. You're supposed to play this from 2 to 4 people, but it is a cooperative game rather than a competitive game. And so I very shamefully play all 3 of these people. It's supposed to be 3 different people. I just control all of the players. Oh, and without the DLC, we'll go from here. And we'll just go this one. I know what all the best ones are. I'm trying to just pick them at random. Oh, you know what? I'll do that. I'll keep going random. Yeah, coincidence. And random. I hate this guy. I hate this one so much, but he is not in the DLC, so we will play that one. 700 plus with the time count screwed up. Over 1,000 is absolutely possible. I will not say anymore. I tried this game in 2020, ended up having to spend time with my flatmates for a few months, would not recommend. The first time I played this game was in person, and it was January 2020, just before we got into lockdowns, and it was so dystopian because it felt like we were making the decisions of the world, where like trying to get the vaccines created and all this kind of stuff. It was a little bit too close to home, and then we got stuck into lockdowns. So basically what's happening is that it is setting up the board game. So you can see it's a map of the world. And the first thing that is done is diseases are starting to spread. So you have 9 cards that get turned over. The first 3 have 3 disease cubes, then 2 disease cubes, then 1 disease cubes. And now we're divvying out our blah, 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 cards here. And the whole point is to try and create a vaccine for all 4 of the diseases. So we need to make a yellow, blue, black, and red vaccine. So that's how you win the game. However, you can lose the game many ways. You can lose the game if your draw pile becomes empty. You can lose the game if you run out of disease cubes. So if one disease runs rampant, you will lose. You can lose if too many outbreaks occur. An outbreak occurs if basically there's a maximum of 3 cubes on a city, like here in Mexico City. If you try to add a cube there, that'll cause an outbreak. That will become more evident later on. What other ways can you lose? I think those are all the ways. Every single player has a different like special ability. We'll get onto that in a second. Yeah, it's the opposite of the mobile game. You're trying to cure the disease, not be the disease. And how do you make a vaccine? So to make a vaccine, you need to get 5 of the same color card. You can see that we've got a lot of blue cards at the moment. But to be able to share cards, you have to be in the same city. So for example, the researcher is in Atlanta, where the CDC is. And so she can share the Atlanta city card with some of the other 2. The contingency planner already has 2 blue cards, so that would be a good one to try and get them the 5 cards. And so once you get 5 of the same color card, you can then go to a research station like here in Atlanta, and you can make a vaccine. That's kind of the short notes version. That's the one. Jeffrey, I do need something from you. I truly do. I know that we're being open and honest about this. I'm so glad that you are actually here because you're right. I do need something from you. Are you mad at me? Yeah, because you didn't turn up sooner, obviously. I don't know how much more emotion I can show. I don't like it. Here I am being very open and honest. What I need from you is to tell me why you are putting all of this on me, you know? Would you still go live if I was a worm? Well, I already see you as a worm. Have you considered that? Anyway, we're playing Pandemic, so what I need from you is to let me know if you are familiar with this game or not. Other things to do is basically, yeah, this is the World Cup brackets, exactly. Other things to do with this game is you can travel around the world to try and mitigate the spread of diseases. At the end of every turn, you will flip over a card and add diseases. That's pretty much the game. You would ask me that. Good one. Anyway, so the researcher has an ability to share their cards no matter what city they're in. So I'm going to give this guy these 2 cards because I feel like, look, he's already almost got the whole of this sorted out. And should I give the medic the other card? Yeah, I'll just heal Washington. Why not? And then we pick up 2 cards, and then we get to infect some cities. So right now we infect 2 cities. So you can see Chennai and New York have now gotten new cards. In terms of the medic, I want to get the contingency planner, the Washington card. But I can't really do that, so I'm actually going to give that to this lady. I can't really go anywhere else. Maybe I will just take some of the red, and we'll try and get him to build up red. I am not going to explain much more than this because I'm starting to feel myself get locked in. And now here, look, we get the Washington, and we go back, and woohoo! We now have a cure for the blue disease. How wonderful. Thank you, Zero Earth. I appreciate that. Is there a Brad Pitt car where he gives himself AIDS to make him immune? Maybe. This is called Pandemic. It's a board game, Lily. But hey, B-Rate guy, thank you so much for the raid on in. It is a pleasure to have you here. We're playing Pandemic, the board game. So Pandemic, the board game, I literally have in person. It's downstairs. But this is a digital version that is no longer available on Steam, but I can still. This all came from the idea of physical media. This is no longer available on Steam, but I bought it on Steam, and I was using it as a good example of a game that I still have access to after purchasing it. After Steam stopped the licensing agreement. Of course, Tweets, you're absolutely welcome to ask an extra question. It was a quick one. Hey, it was very lucky. He has done his thing. So now you can see where we have turned over an epidemic card. And so we're about to get another epidemic somewhere. This is not good. We have a lot of these in the same place. But we only have an infection rate of 2. So I could use a quiet night if I wanted to, didn't want to risk it. But I'm a gambling woman. Let's do it. Nice. Okay, so the idea is we need to clean up some of these. Otherwise, we're going to flip Jakarta or Bangkok or Manila, and it's going to cause an outbreak. It's not going to be very easy, so I think I'll just go heal Mexico in the meantime. I could eradicate blue with the... Oh, I could eradicate blue, but we haven't really got issues over there. Gamble. I think I'll use one quiet night now. I think it probably makes more sense to try and clear some of this up. We can only clear up one is the problem. So let's clear up Jakarta, because if we do get a... and the medic is allowed to clear 3 instead of 1 cubes. So let's clear up that. Because if we do get an outbreak, it won't cause a second outbreak. Do you see Taco Bell has another recall on lettuce? Oh my gosh! No, I had no idea. You're welcome to ask another. I do like Italian food, yes. Thank you for the hydrate. Okie dokie. We're not going to play Red Dead today, by the way. That's why we're playing this instead. One of my favorite games. Oh, we didn't get these two. So this guy, his special ability is to get event cards back from the grave. So that's very helpful. Although I think I might leave it in favor of healing this. We could heal London up though. No, I think we'll have to work on red because they're about to turn up any moment now. And then this lady, she can go clear Manila. Perfect. And then hopefully she gets a red card. Maybe we'll do 2 on Manila. And now we're going to get another epidemic. So where will that be placed? I don't know why you said you'll stop asking. You're literally free to ask a question. But anyway, bye. Just put a bunch of people... Oh no! That was an example. So we got Miami, and then that caused another... that caused an outbreak. Yeah. Just put a bunch of people in hazmat suits and have them walk around with flamethrowers. Probably be solved quickly. Yes, yeah. So this is a digitized version of the tabletop. And so I got it on... I got it on Steam a while ago. But... I thought I'll just give it a go when I don't want to play Red Dead, but I'm not quite ready to end stream. Okay, so Mexico City didn't turn up, so I think I'm going to try and clear that out. I'd rather keep these ones. So that way we don't have another outbreak. Please get a red! Yes! What do I want to get rid of? I don't really have a lot to get rid of with the resilient population. This means we can get rid of a city card. It's not the best time to use it. And what do I want to delete? I think I'm going to delete a black, and then we'll try and get the medic to get more blue. Maybe this game needs a Thanos hit cure the world. Yeah. So we'll bring back, I reckon, resilient population, because that way we can get rid of Khartoum so it doesn't have more things happen to it. We'll try and build up our black with this guy as well. So let's get that Tehran. More blacks! Oh well. Maybe he can clean out London later on. Oh no, another outbreak already. So I want to get a whole bunch of yellows to this guy without wasting them. So what do we need? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's fine. So we can take. Oh shoot! I forgot. Ah! I forgot that he has too many cards. Let's go back. What else can I work on? I could clear out Khartoum. I could mitigate some of the reds, but I don't think that's been an issue. Maybe I try and clean Miami. We don't have to worry about because I got rid of Miami. Santiago I don't really care about either because it only has one thing attached to it. So if that ends up being affected, it doesn't matter so much. Maybe I just go to Atlanta and just hang out there for when people are ready to pick up on stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because that way he can pick up my cards from Atlanta when he goes there. That reminds me of the best rap battle line. You're so far Thanos would have to snap twice to get rid of you. Oh, so fat rather. That is ridiculous. Okay. Let's go. I shouldn't need to clear this up. I'm a bit concerned about these ones. 1, 2. Should I just do it? I think I'm going to clear that one because if we oh no, Mexico City shouldn't be an issue. Bogota might be an issue. Okay, I will clear that one just on the way. And then we have a disease cured. Yahoo! Now we just have to cure 2 more. And he managed to get a couple extra yellows. That's wonderful news. This guy hopefully will get some blacks. So I think I'm just going to get him to clear out a little bit in the meantime. Bangkok, Kolkata. I could clear out Bangkok, I guess. And then we'll go. Don't really have a good place to go. I want to get Algiers and Baghdad. Maybe we go over here because then we'll be close to those 2. Oh, red. If you are 3 people playing this, do you have to keep your cards hidden or you're required to work together? If you are playing this as a tabletop board game, you are meant to show your cards. You could, because otherwise there's no way for you to coordinate which city that you meet up in. Hopefully that makes more sense. Okie dokie. So we're going to give this guy the yellows, and then he's very close to that. She doesn't have any blacks, which is what we really want. So I think I will I could potentially just waste a turn so that I can, if I have a yellow, that I can just be in the city for the medic. Would he benefit from either of these 2 cards? 1, 2, 3, 4. He could potentially clear out Kolkata, but then we're not getting closer to him. 1, 2, 3 is not ideal. Oh, you have 4 turns per 4 actions per turn. Sorry. Pandemic and Breakout destroy infected cities with an enormous paddle and ball. This game is stacked for you to lose without corporation or luck of the draw. Exactly right. And so that's why I actually prefer it as a digital game because it's a bitch to try and reset up. Whereas this is like you can play it in 5 minutes and then it's like, oh, well, you won. I think I will give him San Francisco and hopefully we get some yellows. And if not, then there we go. These will be good to give to the other guy, though, so that is fine. So in that case, I will try and... I'll clear out these 2 because that is not very good. The medic, once there is a cure, can literally just swan on through the cities, though, so that is very excellent. I could clear out London, or I could go to Algiers ready for the contingency planner. So I feel like that is a bit of a gamble, but it is a gamble I'm willing to take. Damn it. Oh, I don't know Eons of Echo. I could get rid of London. We haven't had too many black cities turn up. Santiago, I don't care of. Bogota isn't there. Miami's not there. Khartoum is only touching a handful, so I'm not too fussed about that. Beijing's only touching 2. So I think we will get rid of London, because that way I basically don't have to worry about that section. And then we have too many cards. I will get rid of... I know I gave over San Fran, but I'll get rid of it, actually, because that way I can... Oh, no! We got another outbreak. So we got 3 out of 8 outbreaks. So I'll get rid of that. Oh, no! We've got 4 out of 8 outbreaks. So I will get 1 quiet night back, because that is getting a little terrifying. I was going to try and get Algiers... And then we still need to get this guy another one. And Our Lady will be able to give us a black one for free. So do I want to try and get Lagos, or do I want to try and get up to London to get her here? Oh, I don't have any more actions anyway. Oh, yes, we got a black one. So he just needs to get a research station now. So I am going to get rid of these 2. So we basically just need to get our medic a yellow card. So the best way to do that, I don't know. So I'm just going to clear out some of these in the meantime. Yeah, maybe we'll just do 2 Kolkata. It's just kind of mitigating the outbreaks there. Thank you, Toast. I could see a werewolves version of Pandemic where one of the players is working to spread the viruses. It could be like werewolf, because like a DLC. Yeah, so that would be like you're supposed to cooperate, but in this DLC there's someone undercover who is like a zombie infestation and is trying to spread the disease. I don't know how they would make it happen. But pandemic ties a risk biological warfare. That's very funny. What's all this then? Thank you for the hydrate. This is called Pandemic. It's actually a board game, but this is a digital version. So we're just trying to cure the diseases. We've cured 2 out of 4. I could either... We need to get this guy... We really do need to get this guy... a yellow, so I think that is the best thing, and we'll clear out Khartoum on the way. If we're lucky, we'll get a yellow when we pick up the cards, which we did! Amazing! So now we just need to get to a research station. So what do we have? We can build a research station at Karachi. We can 1, 2, 3, 4. We can... 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no nearby research station, so I think I might have to make the researcher make one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Is there any way to get closer? I'll sort out how we can get the medic closer later. So I will get... oh, yeah, we've got Baghdad. Oh, perfect. As long as we don't die, we have won this game. So basically we need to get through oh shoot, I did this the wrong order. Oh, how do I want to do this? I did this the wrong way. Can I get this one cured? Because once we get to the medic, we can get it cured. I guess we have 1 quiet night. I don't think so, BA. I didn't see anything that was changed after COVID-19. Because this one was created well before then. Spread by airlines in Europe with dysentery. Yeah, wrong board game. Bioterrorist is a competitive antagonist role introduced in the Pandemic on the Brink expansion. Oh my gosh, I don't have that DLC. They don't have them on Steam. That's so cool. Pandemic protects Monopoly. Why sell them the cure ones when you can make them pay for treatment the rest of their lives? Genius, I tell you. Genius. I don't think there's any way for me to immediately get to a research station, unfortunately. So I think I do just have to wait in Karachi, which kind of sucks. So we have to wait a whole turn. But what we can do is at least have a quiet night. So I'm not too fussed. We have enough cards, so it'll all work out, I'm sure. Yahoo! And then we go, wah, ba, 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 ba. Build a research station. Finish. Is there an epidemic? There is, but no worries because we have an event card that is one quiet night. So we literally just need to survive. Oh no! We just need to survive! We lost! I was playing a very gambling game in this one. I will admit, this was very like fast and loose of how I was playing. Sometimes I'm a little bit more methodical and particular about clearing out the diseases. This one I was like, yeah, ain't no thing. But we had an outbreak here in South America. And then the epidemic was in South America. So that was a case of unlucky. If, for example, we had, if that card was San Francisco, we would have won this game. And so there are definitely elements that are luck-based, but the more you play this game, the more you know how to be on top of the outbreak so that you don't have a situation like this one here. But if that was something where we didn't already have an outbreak, yeah, risk mitigation. So like I said, let's say San Francisco, then we would have had the card to do one quiet night, which means that no disease cues are added to the board for one turn. And then we would have needed to just survive one turn. And that would have, again, been based on luck of the draw. But it was literally one turn away. One turn away! And that did not work out. I hate the game, not the player. I do like this game. I've spent a lot of hours in it. It's just, it's good fun. And then I think also when you are playing it as a tabletop board game, it's nice because, like I said, it is cooperative rather than competitive, and so some people don't really have that competitive element, and so it's fun to work together rather than trying to fight against one another. Anyway, hi JJ. I tried to read any of that. It did not work out. I think you need to look deeper. Is your subconscious actually wanting you to go viral? Well, I can tell you that based on the numbers that we achieve on this channel, it's not we're not going viral. We're not going viral. So, but the question is, do I want to go viral? Do I want to go viral? I think that, you know what? Here we go. I'm going to be a little spill the tea. I don't think that I'm ready to go viral. I know I've been live streaming for several years, but there is an element of understanding that if you are to get like raided by a massive channel or anything, if you don't have if you're not prepared for it, then you're not going to be able to stay with lots of viewers or anything like that. What if Most Critical makes a video about you? It depends on what the video is, I guess. And so I think that I'm pretty happy building my let's say portfolio first, because for 5 years I've been live streaming and I have really enjoyed it, but I have only just recently branched out into having other forms of content like shorts and whatnot ready to go. And I don't think that I'm in a position where I can sustain a massive influx of viewers. Because I need to work on just the consistency of myself. But I think that with all of the editing I've been doing, I'm at a better position than I was a few years ago. But I think that I don't look at it like I care about going viral, I guess. I would love for content creation to be earning a little bit extra money so that I can do it full time again. That would be really awesome. I've kind of just been waiting it out at the moment. But it would be nice to earn a bit more and then maybe go overseas and take you guys on some solo trips and whatnot. But I don't feel like I need it to go viral. I have numbers in my head that I would like to achieve, but I'm also like, well, I haven't achieved them in 5 years, so it's okay if that's not the be all end all either. Don't need to get viral. Yeah, well, exactly. We're just chilling in the meantime. Hi, Grateful Troll. Good to see you too. Just make a crypto coin and cash out. Oh yeah, guys. By the way, I'm making a crypto coin. Join in now. I've been a terrible troll. I've been so busy. I have been well. And on that, do you have a day job these days? Not yet. I can't get a day job until I have a proper visa. So I'm applying for that next week when I'm out of the country. And then that will allow me to get jobs. The problem is that I'm doing a lot of travel this year. So I don't know if I will be able to actually get a day job when I'm like, hey, hire me, but also I'm going to be out of the country and back in New Zealand in October. So, hi Dane. We're just kind of mucking around, just trying to survive the heat. It's another heat wave here in the UK. Someone that's fine ain't married should be a crime to the country having the luxury of having you. Yeah, but I don't want to get married. I want a lifetime partner, but marriage is not something that I am aiming for. Your beard is getting longer, thank you. I used hair tonic, $1.88. Are y'all bots? Maybe. Nice to see you, James, as well. Wearing camouflage face paint with the wool, you know it. Anyhow, the heatwave in Scotland kind of looks like rain and fog, and it's only 17. Maybe I should come up north then. 17 doesn't sound too bad. Yeah, partner in crime, that's the one. Oh, thank you, Potato Chips. I really appreciate that. I don't really get a lot of commentary on the color of my eyes because a lot of people usually, you know, they notice the blue eyes or the green eyes. So that's really sweet. I do appreciate it. You want to know something funny? I've been experimenting with greeting customers by saying, "How you going? It's not going well in Oklahoma. Nice try." It's 31 degrees, Dane. I am currently sitting in 31-degree temperature, and it's actually a couple degrees hotter because I'm in an attic as well. I haven't tried Mecha Chameleon, but I can tell you already it's not my kind of game. I am not a multiplayer kind of person. Anytime, if you guys saw me doing any of those multiplayer games, I think there's only one that I enjoyed, and that was with Betty Roseville. Outside of that, it was very much like, I'm doing this because I take it back. It was very fun to do It Takes Two with Allison. So that was cool. But outside of those two games, the multiple players, so with one other, I don't mind so much, but with like 3 or 4 people in a group, I do not enjoy them whatsoever. Not my style. The like Among Us, Mecha Chameleon, not my vibe. Oh, thank you, Thief Stalker. Only 28 inside. Only 28. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Boba. I'm really proud. I'm really proud. I really am. I truly am. And so I think that's what I mean, is I'm in a better position than I was. And once I start doing some more just chats to cameras and stuff, I'm just trying to build up my routine on YouTube more so than anything, I think. If you're having trouble with the heat, moisten a dish towel and put it around the back of the unit. Yes, exactly. I actually think I might buy an extra little washcloth as well. Traveled a lot. I plan to do a lot more travel, Potato Chips. That's what the goal is. I actually moved from Australia. I'm a New Zealander though, but I moved to UK so that I can travel more of Europe, which is what's going on. So I think compared to a lot of people, yes, I have traveled a lot. I was very fortunate as a kid to travel. My dad's from Germany, so we went to Germany a couple times and other nearby countries. So I definitely recognize that I've done more travel than a lot of people, but I plan to do even more. The thing is, Dane, I also lived in Australia for 10 years, and I can tell you after experiencing these heat waves, like the number is not indicative of how terrible it is. I will take Australian 31 over the UK 31 any day. This is nasty. And same in New Zealand. I'm from Hamilton originally, and 21 degrees in Hamilton is worse than 30 in Australia. It's not about the number whatsoever. It's about the humidity. It is about the fact that the houses don't have any draft and there's no AC in Europe. And so you don't have the ability to escape the heat. Whereas back in Australia, you can go inside and your house is several degrees cooler. You can escape the heat. And you can feel comfortable, whereas I'm not feeling comfortable right now. And on top of that, there's no nearby beach. You know, if you're in Sydney or Brisbane, Melbourne, not so much, but you go. So I guess you could go to St Kilda if you're bold. But you're not far from the ability to cool down because you have somewhere that you can go. Whereas here, I mean, yeah, it depends. You don't have AC as readily available as in Australia. Let me put it that way. I don't have a pool. The river, I wouldn't dare swim in. I think there's one place we can go. Good melting. Hi, Delta. So that's what makes it difficult is in Australia, you can at least have the ability to escape the heat. I don't have that here. But that similarly, that's why Melbourne really sucked in wintertime is that people don't understand. When I was like, oh, you know, it's 9 degrees Celsius and people are like 9 degrees Celsius. It gets to minus 10 degrees Celsius in my wintertime. Yeah, but you have a house that keeps the heat in. Unlike the Melbourne houses. And so the chill factor, and I am convinced, and maybe a meteorologist can do a better job of explaining this. I am convinced that the Pacific Ocean also has an impact, and the Antarctic Ocean have an impact on the temperatures and the wind chill and in that side of the world. So yeah, it gets even colder where you are, Kiwi man. I think you get to like the negative in Fahrenheit, not just Celsius. Exactly, 9Fox. And that is the complaint that Australians have is why, oh why, for a young country with all of the knowledge that they should have had, why do they build such terrible housing? So it's so stupid. Turn the PC on in a UK house and it heats it in winter, exactly. Can you do a home tour? No, I live with someone else, so I won't be doing a home tour out of respect of their privacy. What's your opinion about forks and or spoons? I love both of these utensils. I think that they are. I usually eat with a spoon more than a fork, even if it's like a potato, not like just a whole potato, but like a potato curry. I'll eat that curry with a spoon. I definitely pro forks and spoons, I guess. This just proves America's #1. You heard it here, folks. The coldest temperature officially recorded in Wisconsin was minus 55 Fahrenheit. Jeepers. My goodness gracious me. Thoughts on sporks? I feel like they don't do a good enough job of a fork nor a spoon. So I'm not pro spork. So, yeah, there we go. No, the spork doesn't win. It doesn't do a good enough job of either of those things. Go on, chicken. What's your question? I do turn the heater off in winter, close my room door and turn on the TV. He's in my room? That's so funny. Yeah, I usually just rug up when it comes to winter rather than turn the heating on, admittedly. Yeah, you got it, JJ. I was about to say something else. So we're talking about heat and whatnot. Was there anything else I wanted to say about virality, I guess? Oh, that's right. I was going to spill some tea. I think that it's one of those comparison is the thief of joy situations. There can be this feeling of expectation that you should be at a certain point, especially after 5 years of content creation. I've worked very hard on not adopting that mentality so much and just kind of enjoying what I do. And I really do. I really, really love what I do. But I would just like to earn a little bit extra money, I guess. And so I think there is a part of that is trying to figure out what the balance is. Do I want to, hey Ligmag, do I want to say have a part-time job and then this kind of be more for fun, or do I want this to be my full-time job? All of those kinds of things we can ask. The question for It Follows I haven't seen. No. Should I watch it though? I never met anyone who dislikes a spork as much as me, but here you are. I will say, MK, I do think that there is this genuine like love of the spork where similar to, you know, the typical pineapple on pizza arguments where it's like, no, pineapple doesn't belong, whatever. I think there is this like, oh my God, the spork, so underappreciated. No, it's not used for a reason, okay? There's a reason why it is not adopted into our utensil tray, thank you very much. And that's because it doesn't do enough of either of the roles. Either just have a spoon or have a fork. Like, no. Yes, they are real, they're just shoddy workmanship. Do you believe in God? Which one? Only another 5 years to go, exactly. We'll be popping off in 10 years' time, exactly. Sporks win by sheer fact that it's funner to say than for. I will say that it is a fun word in terms of vocab. I will agree with you there. Hi, League. It Follows is pretty good. Well, we could do, you know what, I was thinking of doing a movie night yesterday, but I ended up just being a bit busy with things. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing a movie night this weekend on Sunday before I play Pokemon, because Pokemon starts at, I think it's 10 a.m.? I better check that, because if it's 9 a.m. If it's 10 a.m., then we'll do an earlier movie night. But I haven't decided what we're going to watch this weekend. The Norky! I saw someone say the Noon as well. Teresa from Kingdom Come. I never actually played Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I know a lot of people like either of those games. Teresa, I'm sure if I look up Kingdom Come, then it'll come up. Watch It Follows with Teeth as a double feature of pro abstinence flicks. Pokemon Go, it is the 10th year anniversary this weekend. And as in celebration this weekend. And there will be a whole bunch of raids and Pokemon and shiny increased chances. So I am going to do that. Yeah, I think I would enjoy Kingdom Come Deliverance because I enjoy that kind of game. I just never bought it. It was too expensive for me. But maybe now that it's dropping in price, I might be able to get it. Hey, Enla, good to see you. Definitely not warlords like Odin and womanizer like Zeus, so one true god. Ah, I see. Papatuanuku, the Earth Mother from Maori mythology. You're a deep cut like me. You've been playing? Oh my god! We must share our things. I must share some Pokemon Go codes. Yes, please go eat, Schmick. I'll be hopping off soon. I think I'll hop off before the next ad break, so we've got 20 minutes. Yeah, all the summer sales. But I chose not to buy it because there are so many other games that I haven't played. So I knew that it would just end up sitting on my Steam list like Witcher 3 has. I will not be playing it next. 10 a.m. Yes. So it looks like, is it 10 a.m. both days? 10 a.m. Yes. So let's do because tomorrow... Yeah, I reckon let's do a movie night this weekend. But it's just a matter of which one. I got some starters, yes, with the birthday hats. Aren't they cute? You got it. Yes, weekend friend. I actually was thinking I might put my friend code in the Discord as well, because I used to be a little bit concerned about doxing, and then people were like, well, you don't have to send gifts. And I was like, but people can send me gifts. Earth Mother sounds cool. Yeah, so I'm from New Zealand, so I like to have an excuse to share some of my culture. If it wasn't obvious, Niall, I'm not a Christian, nor am I Muslim, nor am I any of the major religions. Just little old agnostic me. Project Hail Mary I've been meaning to watch, and it's not in cinema anymore. But we have so many movies to watch, so I would rather stick to the list that we have. We could watch Earth Girls Are Easy, but we've got so many. We got Dracula, we got Alien, A Clockwork Orange. We've got oh my goodness gracious me! Thank you, BA.
So God impregnated a teenage girl so she could give birth to his son, who was also himself, so he could sacrifice himself to convince himself to forgive humanity for breaking rules he created.
I've never heard it laid out like that. I'm going to have to use that one in the future. Yeah, exactly, Niall. But I have no issues with religion. I do like the cheekiness of something like this, but people should be allowed to practice their religion, and I'm all for that. I used to go to Christian schools, but I don't follow the Christian teaching anymore. On Prime, there we go. Please get out of the attic. Yeah, I will I will before the next ad break is what I said. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. We've got Idiocracy as well. We've got Dracula. We've got some of the... we don't have Clarks, but we have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Mallrats. Requiem for a Dream I'd be pretty keen on. We've got Shark Side of the Moon now. The Thing we have, but not It Follows. Earth Girls Are Easy. There we go. Godzilla we have from 1954. It's the 1992 Dracula. The Thing is, let me have a look. 1982. Interview with a Vampire. Ooh, Old Boy. We've got Train Spotting as well. Cool. We've got a few things there. Earth Girls Are Easy, you reckon? I haven't actually watched Interstellar, but I don't think I would do Interstellar as a movie night. They actually are playing Interstellar at Southampton. So they have this like shopping mall called West Quay, and that's kind of the big cinema. Rather than any of the local ones, and so I'll be straight up, if you are in Southampton and you ever see me at the movie theaters at West Quay, it probably is me, because that one's just the easiest to get to. It's the biggest theater, it's the main one, so on and so forth. Anyway, so that cinema has Interstellar for some reason. They just bring back other films or older films, I guess. And I have been thinking about going to see Interstellar at the cinema because I feel like a lot of the experience would be heightened by having it on the big screen and also the audio. Anyways. Hey, you watched Project Hail Mary twice. Nice. You like trains? I do like trains, but I don't know them very well. How many people do you reckon will be going to Pokemon Hui? So in terms of the one that I am going to, I am not actually signed up for a meetup, although I should do. I would say, because the tough one with this one, Robert, is that this weekend is a global one, so you don't actually have to be in any particular place. When I was in Denmark, the customs lady, when I was giving my passport, she asked me why I was in Denmark, and I said, the Pokemon Go event. And she's like, oh, no way. Apparently 60,000 people are estimated to be at that one. But this is a global event. So in terms of how many are going to be playing, I reckon literally millions, because they just do it in their own time. But in meetups, I haven't signed up to go to any meetups, so I don't know. Earth Girls Are Easy, enough from my experience. Hilarious. Which one is this? The Thing, the Good Thing, the Thing, the of course. Hello, hi, Abbas. Knock, knock. Who's there? What's the one with Keanu Reeves and it was free pizza? Hi, Chloe. Yeah, I usually don't stream this late for just chatting, Glowy. Usually I'm playing video games at this time. So I will say that I do stream at this time, just not on this YouTube channel. I stream on Twitch and I stream on my video game YouTube channel, but that's why it is a little bit odd that you're seeing me here. Why is this the exact same copy paste as from the person from earlier? That's so odd that it is the like the exact same message. I'm a very, very serious trainer. I'm almost level 69. I'm so excited. There were a few times, especially where I lived in Melbourne, it kind of stopped me playing for a while because I wasn't able to do raids, and whereas I used to live in the city and that was the best. And so there are so many of the legendary Pokemon that I don't have, especially the fusion Pokemon, because just when I lived out in the sticks, I was not able to participate as much, and so I wasn't playing as religiously. But I've got a nice balance here. I don't like being in a too highly densely populated Pokemon Go area. It just is overwhelming, and then you don't actually walk to play Pokemon. You end up just like sitting in one area and using lures and being on the gym. So I like the area I'm in because I've got a few gyms, I've got plenty of Pokestops, and I've got a nice walk that is a little bit out of my way, but like if I want to play Pokemon for community days, it's a good place. So I like the level I'm at. Oh, Keanu Reeves has Knock Knock. Gotcha. You don't have me blocked on there? I actually don't know what Jerkmate is. I can infer that it is like a sexy app or website, but that's the thing. Is it an app? Is it a website? I literally don't know. I hardly ever do raids. Yeah, exactly, BA. That was the problem, is where I was living in Melbourne, I couldn't do the legendary raids. I could do up to level 3 raids. But I completely understand the pain. I'm sat outside at my table naked having a smoke. That actually sounds gorgeous, though. People have suggested to me, Klopp, a bucket of water to put your feet in goes a long way. Nerdically. Yeah, my account is actually 9 boxes. I don't need to walk to find stuff where I am. Plenty of stuff around work and home. Yeah, so I'm similar. Like if I open mine now, I'm not at a Pokestop, but which is probably a good thing. Otherwise, I'd probably just sit on my phone with a lure on the Pokestop the whole time. So it's actually a good thing that I don't have a Pokestop at my house. But I can get like 4 Pokemon spawn, and then I can just go for a little walk. And my coffee shop has a gym though, so sometimes I go there and I hope people join for the legendaries. Ah, it's a cam girl site. That makes sense. It's an online pocket pussy, for fuck's sake. It mates you with other jerks. Oh, I'll join now. Yeah, ridiculous. Anyways, I feel like that is indication that we need to wrap up if we're going on this jerkmate conversation. Your doorbell rings. A raccoon tells you he's your long lost brother. Would you be more surprised that he speaks or that he's your brother? Let me think, because the reality is, if they are my brother, I have to think about my parents. I think that I would be more surprised that they are my brother, because if they were the spawn of either of my parents, I just can't imagine how that would have happened. But knowing that they are the spawn of my parents, it makes sense that they can speak. My parents are very, they would absolutely be able to produce a talking raccoon. But the fact that they were able to be in a position to produce a talking raccoon is surprising. So if my parents were to spawn a raccoon, it's no surprise that they talk. So I would be more surprised that they are related to me. There we go. That is my full attention to that question. This all sounds like what parents think codes for drugs are. It's just Asmongold, exactly right. I'd be more surprised that he speaks because he could be lying about being my brother to steal my delicious dress. Ah, frick, you do have a good point. I do take people at their word too easily. I'd be more surprised that it managed to reach the doorbell. Well, maybe it's a big raccoon. Rocket Raccoon was related to me. That's the one. There's a Pokestop at my cafe. Oh no, little Jimmy and buying drugs at the cafe. I knew it. We were not supposed to be talking about Trash Panda. We were talking about the Pokemon Go event this weekend and what to watch for movie night. But we had a random question about raccoons in the meantime. I think I'm happy to wrap it up, guys. It's 3 o'clock, so I will go work on some of my charity stuff. Thank you for the hydrate. Cheers. Thank you, Hugh. And I no stream this weekend. We're gonna try and finish Red Dead Redemption 2 next week. I will try and make sure that this charity stream is good to go because I want to make sure that I can actually stream from the kitchen. That is something that I am most concerned about and I haven't fully worked on. But I'm just going to chip away at that. And then I'm going to play a whole bunch of Pokemon. So good luck for you guys this weekend if you're playing Pokemon. Thank you guys for joining. Oh, hold on. Let's answer this before we go. MK says, if a raccoon and a fox would fight an official boxing match with gloves, who would win? I think the raccoon, because they'd be able to stand on their hind legs, whereas a fox would have to be on all fours, so the boxing gloves don't really do anything. Lock and raccoon. Oh, Pokemon 2000! Pokemon the movie! I literally have it. I have it on DVD. I think that we have to do Pokemon the movie for the anniversary. That would be very sweet. I will, I do, like I said, I have it. A fox is faster, but it's got boxing gloves. It's going to be hindered by the boxing gloves, you know? I do, sorry, Nine Fox. The thing is, it was about boxing gloves. If it was a raccoon versus a fox, then maybe it's a different situation, Nine Fox. But imagine, fox, all fours, boxing gloves. Like, that's slowing that fox down. It's literally a handicap. That's the whole point. One time when I woke up at 6 a.m. so I can get to the airport, I was freezing because I was freezing. Oh, you poor thing. So I went to my parents' room, turned on the heater, and used it as a campfire. That's adorable. Love the Aussie accent. Nice try. I'm a New Zealander. But yes, I'm glad I went live. Thank you, Kiwiman. I saw you said thanks for toughing out the heat. I was really considering... Oh, actually, I do have something that I wanted to share before I end. Sean. I just wanted to give a little update. I think I'll do this as a Discord message as well to let other Discord people know. I'm doing a lot better. I really am. I still don't really know what was causing a lot of my slump. I have some theories. I think it could just be seasonal disorder or just trying to find direction. I think that the lack of expectations have been really, really helpful as well. So thank you guys for just turning up whenever I turn up. I've been getting a lot more sleep, although not great sleep because the heat has been awful. And all of these things have really helped me be in a better mood. And today is actually a really good example of that. Before I started streaming, I was like, I don't really want to stream, but not because I'm feeling anxious, not because I feel like I'm struggling with my mental health. It's just hot. It's just freaking hot, and I have to decide whether or not I will get irritated in the heat. And as you can tell, I didn't, and that I think in itself is an indication that I'm doing a lot better, and a lot of these things aren't getting to me as easily. And even just not committing to the game today is a good example where it's like not having those expectations have helped a lot. Extreme heat is not the cure, thank you very much. But I'm really glad that I managed to just hang out even for a few hours, even starting a little bit later. All of these things, like I said, are really helpful for my recovery and healing. So thank you guys. Yeah, I'm glad I'm feeling better as well. Exactly. Sometimes you just get hit at once. But the glowing is literally just sweat though, Sean. This is all just sweat. Goodness gracious. But yes, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of that. And I've been feeling a lot more positive, and I'm hoping that my turning up to stream is also a good example of that. yeah, so I just thought I'll do a little message over the weekend as well. Raccoons aren't much better on two legs, and foxes are bigger and stronger. If we're being serious, okay. Well, I'm accepting that the foxes could win in the fight. But maybe the biting, but that's illegal, you know. Anyways, so point being, thank you guys so much. Yeah, even moist, exactly. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you get up to. Make sure to follow all of the socials if you want to keep up with all things X Clementine. Yeah, we'll try and do a movie night because we've skipped a few movie nights. So I think that would be nice, and I do feel like Pokemon is an appropriate one. Hydrate. I've got one more Guinness in the fridge. Maybe I'll go get that. Go sit out and get myself some legendary Pokemon. Anyway, I just it'll be first thing in the morning on Sunday, Sean. So like it probably will be an 8 a.m. one. I haven't been doing as many of the 8 a.m. streams anymore for now, I should say. But I think the movie I will want to finish before I play Pokemon at 10 a.m. Yes, yeah, I should have gone and got my hair tied, but I didn't need to go downstairs for any other reason. But look how slay! I love my haircut. I'm so happy. I love my little bangs. But anyways, I will see you guys when I see you. And just thank you for the support. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for just turning up as well. It really goes a long way and means a lot. Much love, and see you after the weekend. Bye for now.